One of a Kind with Rob Van Dam is recorded in front of a live studio audience.
What's up, everybody? This is Dominic D'Angelo, and it is One of a Kind with RVD. This week, Rob has had a busy week and a busy weekend. So I decided to have a special episode where we look back at episode 3 and episode 17 of One of a Kind with RVD. That so happens to be we talk about WrestlePalooza 1998. It was Sabu versus RVD in Cobb County, Georgia, and it was a really fun match. And we have Rob talk about that. That was our third ever episode. Pretty crazy to think about. And then episode 17 is where we cover the stretcher match, and we actually watch it back on this episode. So we get Rob's perspective and everything like that. And in between, I will also put a couple Sabu clips. One where Sabu is talking about the stretcher match. And then another was what the biggest thing that he learned from his mentor and his uncle, the Sheik. So enjoy this episode. This will be a lot of fun. And it'll show you a little bit of the early workings of this show, too, which is pretty neat. But I did want to thank everybody who contributed and donated to the Sabu GoFundMe for to help with memorial services for him. And they had two beautiful services, one in Lansing, Michigan, and the other in the ECW Arena in Philadelphia. And then, just the outpour and the immediate outpour was for people that donated. I want to thank all the fans that shared and donated, but I also want to thank names like Chris Jericho and Scott Demore. And there was an anonymous donation that was very generous. And but I want to just thank everybody. Joey Janela donated a lot. I know Blue Meanie donated. I'm going to leave several names off the list, but thank you everybody for doing that. And I want to thank, if you're watching, I'm wearing this t-shirt here. It's an awesome Sabu t-shirt, and it is from Tapped In. They reached out to me out of nowhere. I didn't know the brand. I didn't know anything. They just reached out to me, and they were like, hey, if we make a t-shirt, we'll can we donate all the proceeds to the GoFundMe? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And they made this awesome tee. It's double-sided, and it was only available for a limited time, but all the funds they got raised for it, all the proceeds went to the GoFundMe. So thank you, Tapped In. I'm going to share their link below in the Instagram. Be sure to give them a follow and support them. They do really cool looking merchandise, not just wrestling, but a little bit of everything too. So take a look, and I'm very happy to have this Sabu tee. So thank you to them, and just thank you to all the listeners throughout the show that we've garnered and everything. I said before, and I'll say it again, that like I learned so much, not just from people in the chat, but from Rob and like his perspective, and kind of breaking out of the mold of thinking one way in a lot of ways. We're all tuned. We've all been raised a certain way to think and have our own values and things like that. Well, Rob kind of bucks that system and kind of makes you rethink it. And he's legitimately changed the way I perceive things in a lot of ways. So thanks to Rob too. So, but enjoy this episode. We all love Sabu, and what a cool way to celebrate with this episode. So yes, number one, Sabu, number one. All right. Hey, everybody. This is Dominic D'Angelo of Many Outlets, and we are back here with another episode of One of a Kind with RVD. And obviously, the star of our show is here. It's Mr. Rob Van Dam. Rob, how you doing, man?
Excellent, man. Excellent, dude. I'm enjoying doing these shows and hearing people talk about it. People are tuning in.
The feedback's been great. Like, people have been not only like learning stuff, but they're like just getting into it. I saw on Twitter today, some guy was like, this and Ted DiBiase are my new two favorite podcasts. So cool. Get some good feedback. And dude, I mean, you were telling me just a little bit ago, you're doing a little RVDology. Well, even beforehand, you've been inspiring some people that you probably don't even know, because you posted a couple days ago, I think it was, how to be cool like RVD. When you're the passenger, let the driver realize the light turned green on their own. It's not your job to direct traffic. It's controlling factor inside you and how long it can possibly take for them to notice anyway. Relax and enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
What's funny about that is you got a reply. It's somebody said, I'm so guilty of that with my husband. I'll never do it again. Thank you for making me a better person.
Yeah. I love that. That one, knowing that one person was helped.
Yeah.
Makes it worthwhile anyway. Yeah.
Well, get this. That was my mom. And she doesn't even know. Well, I just told her about the podcast. So you're finding more than one D'Angelo here.
For real, that was your mom that wrote that?
Yeah, because I looked and I was like, oh, Jennifer wrote that. And I didn't pay no mind to it. And then when I looked back, I was like, wait a second, that's my mom.
Hey.
So
hey, stop it. So when I write that, in my mind, I just imagine a lot of basic thinkers thinking that I'm angry writing that, thinking, he must be driving and there must be someone in the seat that's just like pissing him off, for him to go off like that, man. And I just imagine that.
Yeah.
Just because I think that, I think I understand somehow how basic thinkers think, but it was actually the complete opposite. Is me being a passenger, and every time like the light turns green, I just kind of like, I wonder like how long it's going to be before she notices. And it's not a big deal, but it's just kind of something that's occurring. And I just thought, a lot of people would feel obligated to tell them, hey, the light's green. And that's like, so not me. I think I'll share, the way that I do it. So it's the exact opposite of what the basic thinkers would think was my inspiration. But I'm just like noticing how cool I am at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Like, be like, you know what? I'm feeling pretty good. It's all right. It's like, I can wait this out. Built up curiosity. Well, you actually added to another tweet that happened, and it was traffic is a gateway to road rage. That's the statement. And hey, Katie, how are you?
Hey, good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. How are you?
I'm doing all right, hanging in there. Back from Vegas, so it's been nice.
Yeah. Most of the reaction from that surprised me. I thought that people would just understand that I was just putting different ingredients into the recipe, into the same formula. Like the whole gateway thing is so ridiculous. You could use it for anything, and it's true from that perspective. But yeah.
I thought it was pretty good because it did give you it made me think about it, and I was like, it kind of depends on the person a lot of the times too.
Yeah, it really wasn't about. Yeah, my comment wasn't about. It wasn't even going on at the time, and nobody was road raging. It was just a thought. I was just thinking, that's when it comes to cannabis. That's something that some people really stick to. They'll seem like so smart. They'll be like, I mean, I know that a lot of, it's really not that bad for you. It's a lot safer, than cigarettes, but it really is a gateway, Rob. It is because my cousin, man, he didn't do nothing, and then he started smoking weed. Boom. Now then he's doing heroin, and that really makes sense to them. So that was really the inspiration. I was just thinking, like, what would they say to me saying, whatever. The entrance ramp is the gateway to fucking car crashes. Are you gonna argue against that, or is that true the same way?
Right. No, I thought it was pretty cool to kind of have that all tie in a lot of ways. What was neat too is Bully responded to the video that we shared about you working stiff with him and stuff like that. And he agree with you. He's like, so true. Me and Rob definitely had our share of snug exchanges, mutual respect, always great business, and always tore the house down. And I've taken more of his stiff as fuck 5-star frog splashes than anyone else.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
He was probably a lot of them. He's taking a lot of them.
Yeah. Because somebody asked if it was Jerry Lynn, and I was like, well, that's another good one. But
no, I don't know. That'd be interesting statistically to see what the answer is to that, But I know I had a lot more stiffer matches with Bubba than Jerry, and that was because of what me and Jerry brought out of each other versus what me and Bubba brought out of each other,
Right. Like you were saying last week too. It's like how it depends on who you're working with and
totally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a chemical reaction.
That's right. So I mean, I got to go to Vegas this past weekend, and obviously you guys live there. Did you guys have a pretty good night on Sunday night after the AEW show happened? Sabu was obviously there that night at the show. I think I saw a picture of you at the Nerd. Is that true?
Yeah. So Katie went and met some friends, and she went to the Double or Nothing, and then
oh, nice.
Yeah, she was in a suite with some friends, and then they took her down to the Nerd, and I went down there and picked her up, and then we went where?
Crazy Horse.
Hey,
Oh, snap.
yeah,
Yeah. And I met
Crazy
up with
Horse
Jerry
3.
at the Rancid concert right next door to Nerd Bar.
Oh, wow.
Punk rock bowling is
Yeah,
a
he was
big
like-
deal, and I had
yeah.
a few friends that were in town just for that. The movie dude, I was working on set. The director in LA, right after rapping, he drove all the way here for punk rock bowling.
No way.
Yeah.
Now, did you participate? Did you guys bowl?
No, yeah, I think like just the Rancid concert was a part of it. So
Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
yeah,
Okay.
they said there's like a whole bunch of events that were just a part of it. Yeah, and I just met up with Jerry Lynn there, and then we partied at the Nerd. Then Rob went, and I went and had our date night. It was a fun day.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a favorite spot on Fremont? I've been there several times, but I wanted to see if you guys had a certain.
Well, the nerd bar is really like the only place that's like regular that we go to, because the owner Johnny is a good friend, and he knows all wrestlers. They even have wrestling at the nerd bar. You know,
I didn't know that.
did you go? You didn't go there, huh?
I didn't go there. Not this time around. I didn't go to.
Yeah, they had a show there this weekend, at least one show in the courtyard. It's in an area at Fremont called Neonopolis.
Okay.
That's where when you drive through, there's like a one block where the intersection is only for walking through one way. You know, it's like blocked off on the well, that's Fremont Street anyway, where it's blocked off because people are walking. But anyway, yeah, he's a good friend and takes care of the wrestlers and everyone traditionally goes there. Willie Mack was there, Sabu was there, then left. I don't know. I guess there was a few of the guys there, but yeah, we ended up talking to Jerry Lynn. People would say, "Oh my God, both fucking shows."
How about that? You guys had similar shirts too, I saw.
Yeah, yeah, that was fun. I didn't notice.
You guys coordinate?
Yeah.
I gotta go back and look at the photo.
Oh, it's funny. There's a fan posted 2 pictures of you guys side by side on Twitter, and it was like, oh my God, they're wearing the same
Saw
shirt.
that.
Pretty funny stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sabu obviously was at Double or Nothing. And Katie, what did you think of the show? What you got to see and everything like that?
It was fun. Yeah, I went and I was backstage, seeing my friends, and then we went to the suite and watched.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was a good time. I liked the show.
I thought so too. I liked it.
Entrance, that was my favorite part.
Which one?
Jade's entrance when she came in.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Pretty girls walk like this. And then she had the singer that sings that song with her, and then the backup dancers. I just love that.
And she revealed too that was all part of her old sorority. I think they were all part of that, which I thought was a really neat tie-in to all that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that was cool.
I thought the show itself, was well-rounded and built out. Good stories told and stuff. It was fun. It was a fun show to be a part of and stuff and check out.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel about Sabu's appearance? Did he kind of clue you guys in at all with that, or like was he kind of? Did you guys communicate like that, or do you guys kind of keep it like
Well, I knew that he was going to be debuting on Wednesday, and then after that, I guess I knew that he was going to be part of Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe he jumped through a table in a suit. That's what threw me off.
Yeah.
It was cool to see him in a suit. Like he looked like
Yeah,
so professional. Yeah, that was classy.
Totally
Good. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the Sheik.
Yeah. When I was young and training, Sheik really tried to push that on us to dress up and to represent the business, and to make the business look good by dressing classy. But that never really clicked with me, and I never really had anything nice to wear at the time when I was really young, and he was telling me that, and I've only acquired anything since then by default. So
I look back in all the candid photos of Sheik, like I've seen on Twitter and stuff like that. He's a sharp dresser, man. He was super sharp dresser. Yeah.
It was cool seeing Sabu like that too.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought they presented him really well, both on Dynamite and at the show. So I thought that was cool.
Cool.
So overall, like what you've seen of AEW and everything like that, I think you and guys like you and Sabu, we're gonna get to the random match here tonight, but I think a lot of people in AEW could learn a lot from the style that you guys kind of wrestled in. Like, you do some of the crazy stuff, but noticing the matches that you guys had in the past, it's like, wow, there's a lot of good pacing to telling it, where some of it's a little bit faster paced in AEW, obviously, with how the wrestling goes. But I think a lot of people can learn a lot from you guys, you and Sabu. So,
You mean from on hand, or you mean just from watching our old shit?
I think from a little bit of both. Like, mostly a lot of what I was thinking about was from watching your guys' stuff, and how you guys. Yeah. So, no, I thought, and like I said, that show itself was good. The main event I liked a lot, but yeah, it just made me note about when, because the random match we're doing, I think we're gonna call it Rob Van Random is the matches for the week, maybe.
Rob Van Random.
Rob Van, what do you think of that? Is that good or is that too cheesy?
Rob Random.
Rob Random. I like that better. I like that one. All right, so the match, our producer or one helper, Chris, he helped pick out, and it is, yes, sir, you too, Chris. ECW WrestlePalooza 1998.
I know the match.
Yes, you and Sabu going at it go ahead.
This is in Atlanta, so for ECW, that's a big deal because the further we travel from Philly, we're reaching fans that are out there. Because the company hadn't been like on a national tour for years like WWE, so it's still a big deal to go somewhere and see how many hardcore ECW fans have been staying up late at night to watch them imitate the fans in Philly and shit. I remember Junkyard Dog was there. I was upset that New Jack punched him.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think. Allegedly, JYD stiffed New Jack maybe $50 for some coke.
Oh.
But at the time, it was just a bunch of drama, like New Jack often was, and he just kept saying, "He come up on me. He come up on me. He come up on me," like over and over and over and over again. He come up on me. so that was an inside joke forever. I mean, whoever else was there could always say and know what we were talking about. But I was like, "Oh man, you punched JYD." Maybe I don't know if I said it to him. I was probably like, "He punched him." I was bummed because JYD was, he was one of the OGs when I grew up watching him, and I thought, how disrespectful. But I don't know what happened.
Dude, I loved JYD as a kid. And did you interact with him at all while you were there at WrestlePalooza and stuff, JYD?
I don't know if I did there, but I have before on the indie shows when I wrestled around Georgia in the areas. So I would have been 92, 93.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, JYD's always a standout. And like him able to do what he did, like in Mid-South and Louisiana, all the pops he would get, he was hot, man. So yeah, definitely. Yeah. So yeah, about it being in Georgia, like how did Paul kind of plan that venue out in specific? Did he obviously he wanted to expand from the Northeast and make it big, but that seemed like a wild one to kind of start with. I saw you guys in Florida beforehand and stuff,
but we did some random shit. We came. At first it was just all the little towns around Philly, and New York. But then, we were in Florida. I don't know if we came to Michigan, maybe. I don't know, but actually we did come to Michigan, and I don't know, Georgia. I can't remember all the places. I know we went to Canada once.
I saw Kissimmee, Florida. You guys went to
sure.
Fort Lauderdale, I think was another one. Yeah.
We we had some regular hunts there in Fort Lauderdale and in Kissimmee, and so that became like something we would do every once in a while. And so we were growing, we were expanding, and that was part of it.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And the crowd was hot for you guys coming into it too. So it was pretty neat. Does it feel 25 years ago? Because it's over 25 years ago at this point, May 3rd, 1998. So
it does, bro. It feels like it was that long ago. Long ass time ago. Two things stick out in my mind from the actual match. One of them was my 180 Van Daminator, because that was one of those things where the risk factor made it not worth keeping for me.
Mhm.
But I'm sitting on the top rope in the corner, and Sabu went to do the Hurricane Rana, and I held on to the rope and braced myself, and boom, he bumped, and he's laying down there below me. And I jumped up and spun around and cleared the top rope, split my legs, boom, bounced back into the split-legged moonsault. And I was, I don't know if I'd done that maybe once or twice else on TV, but for the most part, that was something that I always thought that'd be cool to perfect, but it wasn't worth the risk factor of maybe fucking it up. So I didn't keep that like as a regular one. So that's something I remember was that it was cool just to show that I could do that. A lot of moves are like that, by the way, that you can find footage of me doing them and someone's using it as a finish now. And it was something I only did once or twice or whatever. Because, I was exploring my potential and boundaries of the laws of gravity and everything back then. Why wouldn't I? But the other thing I remember is Sabu throwing up. Going up the corner. Yeah.
I had to double check. Because I watched it like on my flight before I took my flight back to Vegas.
Yeah,
and I was like,
under the top rope in the corner, and
he's like laying over the apron, and he's like, I was like, did he just throw up?
Yeah. Pay-per-view.
Now, was he sick, or was it just something happened that he caused him to throw up? What was going on? Do you know?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I think he was sick going into it.
Oh man. Well, I think what was really neat is kind of the story that laid out a bit about this was like, there was who was Bill Alfonso siding with, and he was managing both of you guys at the same time, and then you guys get into the ring. You have the crooked ref Jeff Jones in there, and then on top of that, once the bell rings, you guys do some pretty cool stuff starting off, like a little bit of razzmatazz, and then like you get on the mic and you're like, you really think I'm gonna attack my tag partner here? He's like, you made a plan all this time, and like, so you're like getting in on the deal and ready for him to do his split
his pose.
The pose, and then like leap onto you and attack Jeff Jones, and then he kicks you. And so I thought it was a good build to all that stuff, and set it up really nicely for like, oh, hey, they're going to have a match. But it was kind of neat because even after all that stuff, you guys still are friends, like from the story perspective of it. Tension, obviously, but it was there, Talk about how that kind of like tagging with Sabu in general. Did you prefer him as an opponent, or did you kind of like tagging with him more so?
I guess tagging with him, I mean, he's my favorite guy to work with, but tagging with him because we're brothers, and there's nobody else in the business that I feel that about, you know what I mean? Like to that degree where, I would want to protect him, and it's organic. And I really liked doing the interviews when I would just try and like push him back, and make it all about me, and he'd get mad, and I would just like manipulate his energy or whatever, because that was it was a really good good chemistry, good matchup, and it was a lot of fun. So I missed that too. And also though, we were so like-minded that it would be cool to we would both. It was advantageous for us to be partners because we would both know where we're at in the match, and where we want it to go, and where it should go according to our opinion. Just being on the same page more than with most people, I guess.
Yeah, no, and like you could definitely tell the chemistry with you guys, even like just in that match going against one another. And I think what was neat too is the different kind of body language you both had. Like Sabu either looked frustrated or conflicted a lot, like throughout the story, and then you were just like living the life kind of deal and being like, all right, we're a tag team, but we got a ploy going on here. And even after that, you're still like confident enough, like, oh yeah, I'll still fight Sabu and we'll still be all right afterwards,
Yeah.
It played out really well like that, I thought. For listeners that kind of aren't aware of like you and Sabu's relationship, how did you guys kind of start out with the Sheik and all that stuff? Can you just give a little basic background? We'll get into Sabu more, I'm sure, down the road, but just as a basic kind of outline for people.
Yeah. So I'm bagging groceries at a grocery store, Main Street Market, and saving money to go to wrestling school. I think I'm going to go to Boston, Killer Kowalski School at this time. And
Oh,
this big 300 and some pound power lifter comes through and we start talking. And I befriended him, told him I'm going to be a wrestler. You know, I wish I had his size. And he tells me that he's wrestling. And I had no idea there was such a thing as like indies, you know, in the whole independent circuit. I had no idea. And anyway, he was doing a little bit of that, and he was working out with the Sheik, and he ended up introducing me to the Sheik, talking to him about me, and then bringing me in one time. And so when I met the Sheik, it was in the middle of winter in Michigan, so very cold, snowy, and Sheik's son Tom he had a garage that was that they had the ring in, and the ring was cut in half. And so so it was 8 feet by 16 feet.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was so they could squeeze it in there. And the Sheik he told me to go in the ring and to show him all the stuff I could do, because I said I'm acrobatic and I'm a martial artist. I do kicks and flips and splits and whatever. And so he's like, show me. And I'd be boom, 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 do a cartwheel, a spin kick. You know, what else you got? And I'd say, oh, all right, I'd do a nip up, you know, and do a fucking split. But all right, what else you got? And I'd do a backflip off the rope. Eventually I ran out of shit, you know. He's like, okay. And I didn't know how good if I was doing good or bad. I had no idea. I'm like, I can do this. And I would jump, you know. And he says, okay. He says, Terry, get in there. And this dude gets in, hippie looking, big, bushy, long, big hair, skinny little legs. And he comes at me and he just bam, he like locked up with me. And he started like pushing me and pulling me and pushing and pulling and jerking me around. And so like I'm balancing with him. I started like countering and struggling and trying to offset his attack. And I don't really understand what I'm supposed to be doing. But he's testing me, you know, obviously for balance, coordination, all kinds of things. And then he started like arm dragging me. And I was like, wow, he had one of the most beautiful arm drags. And I was like, all of a sudden I was like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
That was awesome. And that was Sabu. And so Sabu and I would be in the ring working out. And there was eventually Dango came along. Tom was the big guy that introduced us. That was mostly it. Judge Dredd was around sometimes, and that would be Sabu, and then like, what's that, 4 of us. So it wasn't like a school or even a class. It was like real intimate, like family, like getting together, like. And Sheik almost never actually got in the ring. Once in a while he would, but he was already like, I think in his 70s at that time. He acted like it. And it was mostly Sabu in the ring with us. And Sheik, when she gave him the name, he didn't like it at first.
Yeah.
But it was Sabu the Elephant Boy is what he wanted him to go by.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, so when did he give him the name?
So shortly after I came aboard and I joined the family. Sabu had been around the Sheik for about 6 years before that, and he carried his bags and he would work on the card, you know, and help him out, be his young boy. And then shortly after I came along and gave him that gimmick. And then we went in 91, because that was December of 89 was when I walked into that garage the first time. December of 89. And then in 91, we went to Tennessee. That was our first territory where you're on that loop. And they fucked up and called him Samu, S-A-M-U. So we got a big kick out of that. Yeah. So it was in between there. So I guess it was 90 that he got that name.
Well, how about that? Like,
Yeah.
I gotta ask too, because I noticed in the first sequence of this match too, in particular, you guys were doing a little bit of mat work and stuff like that. Like, was that something that the Sheik kind of instilled in Sabu and you guys a little bit when you started off? Because like it looked like, man, Sabu almost how I felt too was like, I'm so used to Sabu doing all the crazy and wild stuff, but like
Yeah,
it looked like he
Sabu
could go
can
in the
actually
ring, like,
wrestle. Yeah, Sabu
yeah,
can actually wrestle, and he did wrestle in school.
yeah, okay, yeah. It
So,
could definitely notice that. I definitely noticed that at the beginning of the match and everything.
yeah,
Talk about
one time, me and Dango were getting on his nerves when the three of us were training, and so he was. I can't remember what the argument was over, but he told us that he would pin us both, and he did.
did he?
Yeah. Yeah, I got winded. I remember I was so winded, so blown up, and being young, and I probably tried to play it off like, well, I was laughing too hard or something like that. But
Yeah.
he did.
He got you. He got you. So was it always the plan too for you guys to kind of build to this story kind of thing? Because like even beforehand, this match was promoted as Bam Bam going against Sabu initially, and then you won the title from him the month before. And then it came into that you guys are going. Was Paul had this kind of in the back of his mind that he wanted you guys to kind of go out one-on-one with one another a lot more?
You'd have to ask Paul. I really
Okay.
don't. Yeah.
Okay, I was curious about that. Talk about Bill Alfonso a little bit. How was he for you guys both as a team? And then initially, did he do some kind of like a lot of help backstage with you guys as well too?
Yeah. Fonzie, we really loved working with Fonzie, and he took his job really serious too. So he's really just the manager on TV, but he's happy to have that gig and to be working with the main eventers. And so in reality, he's busting his ass, trying to show us that he's happy to be there and take care of us. So he would when he would get to the hotel first and try and make sure that I get like the biggest room possible.
Really?
Stuff like that. Yeah. He would always do stuff like that. He would try and take care of us, and he has like nonstop energy. So he's always like on the go. Like he needs to wake up at 8 a.m. and start doing jumping jacks and stuff. And he's so wired that way. Envious a little bit because I don't have nearly that much energy, but I knew right away, he was family, and so like he was always there with us when we were traveling, when we were partying, and when we were doing our business in the ring.
Yeah, and I think as a younger kid watching it too, I just remember being like, oh man, like he's like he would be obnoxious to the point where it'd be like, oh, like kind of balancing it out a little bit where like, you're likable, Sabu's likable because of the style, but then he's like kind of, all right, that Bill Alfonso's like fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah. People would always bitch about the whistle. How could you stand that annoying whistle? I would just get used to it, I guess, and I wouldn't even notice it unless it was right in my ear, which once in a while he would do that. I made the match more funny because I'd grab him by his shirt or something. He would always do stuff like that. Sometimes I'd be laying on my back, taking a breather, after getting kicked or something, and then he would like pour water down my throat, and I wouldn't even see it coming. And I'd be like choking, like, dude, you're killing me, and stuff like that. And like I say, it was organic. It just happened all the time. It made it a lot of fun.
Well, even the dynamic in this match too, it was kind of neat because you would want him to do shit for you, like he'll hold the chair while you guys were fighting on the guardrail, and like he doesn't do it, and you're like, what the fuck? And you're like kind of like interacting with him then, and he's like playing both sides of the field in a lot of ways, like oh, I'm on Rob's team now, I'm on Sabu's team. It's just like a very neat dynamic.
That's when he came into my dressing room when we tried to get it all smoked up so he could like wave it off before the matches. Yeah,
it's good stuff. Something I really liked about this aspect, not only the crazy shit that you guys did and everything like that, but I thought like the added bits of humor that you guys did, like after the match, as well as like what you did during the match. For you in specific, you did like, okay, you did something with the chair, and the chair was and Sabu was laying down, and then you casually kicked the chair out of the way, and then you casually hit an elbow drop for a pin, like a nonchalant pin attempt. I thought that was hilarious. And then when you climbed up top, you tested the air like the wind.
Yeah.
Little subtleties like that I thought was pretty fun. When did you kind of get to that point where you're like, I'm going to incorporate some like kind of funny shit into the ring? Was there a moment where you started feeling more confident in being able to do that, do you think?
I think it was probably right around then, around 97. Working as a heel with ECW. I came in 96 of January, and I came in as a heel, but, looking at that guy, I mean, I was a baby, like so green. And then getting over, working with Sabu, and then staying over, and then feeling like I was actually building and earning some clout. A byproduct of that is confidence, and then that allows you to go ahead and make some brave decisions and be committed to a certain ideology that you wouldn't necessarily have the balls to commit to. So it was right around then, 97, 98. And when I beat Bam Bam for the championship, that was just a whole new level. The fans treated me like I was somebody different then, like I was on a superstar level that I never had been on before. And thank God I never climbed down from either. But it was just that one night was huge difference in the amount of respect and just placement that I felt in the industry. My value went through the roof.
As JR indicated too later on.
Yeah.
I thought it was really neat too, like the crowd reaction to you, and like you could tell like you were feeling confident now, all that throughout all that stuff, because I mean throughout the, like when you're walking in the ring, you're talking trash to the camera, you're doing all that kind of stuff. It was just really neat added aspects, like that's why RVD's so damn cool. It's a lot of that stuff.
I was always a lot more comfortable in ECW than I was with WWE, and it's a shame that I couldn't get really comfortable, but it just felt like so many people wanted me to do things that were so different than what I thought was right. I think that was like a big part of it. And it was, I don't know, there was always just the whole company had a way of keeping you very humble, but lots of different ways. And so my own image of self-value wasn't, hey, I'm the whole effing show here. It was more like, hey, how come I don't have a cardboard cutout at the airport? It was, and so there was a lot of it was that until we brought the ECW back in WWE, and then I'm sure, boom, you saw that change. All of a sudden, I was like, fuck yes, now I can be me again. But it wasn't intentional. I wanted to feel comfortable, but it was, it was hard. It was a pretty rigid fit.
Well, I kind of think too, not only did you have to worry about like politics and the mind games or certain aspects like that went into play, but then the structure of how WWE was probably, there, and how, Vince and that all set up, and it's just a different vibe altogether, and, just a bigger environment too, which is, if I know from a creative aspect, it throws anybody off, if you're in that kind of element where you're having to worry about all the other outside bullshit and stuff too. So
but so ECW around 98, and then moving forward, I felt like my efforts were more and more important and paid off bigger and bigger, which was just great, because that inspired me to work harder and harder. And so that's why that was like one of the most fun runs of my career, was the TV championship, and seeing the actual attendance and interest build with everything that we're doing. That was awesome.
Now, did you like that Georgia crowd when you were there? Do you remember how the reaction and all that stuff came through it?
Yes. I mean, I don't remember specifically anything that night, but I mean, that was not new to me. I had been through Georgia, and I think I wrestled in every town in Georgia, prior to this. I came to, 91, 90, in 92, I moved to Augusta, Georgia in 92.
Oh, okay.
And I wrestled all over every little town in Georgia and the Carolinas. And then I moved to Savannah, which, was just to be on the coast, but I was still working the same territory. And I did so many fundraisers. And I was partners with Greg Price. We were actually running shows, and he would book these buildings and fundraisers, and it'd be in Baxley and Alma, and of course Ben Masters down in Cordell City in South of Atlanta. That's a big where we found Dan Masters. Yesterday he would have been 41, by the way. Yeah, I think we should do a live show and talk about him. He was around, and then all of a sudden no one really knows what happened. And I have so many pictures. People remember him, and he knew everybody. And crazy death that he had. That I think we should. Sometime I'll talk to you about that. But maybe, I want to do a show on him. But
definitely fill me in on it, because I'd love to do something like that for sure.
So he was from Americus, Georgia, which was right down there by Cordell City. But dude, I ran that was Valparaiso. No, that's Indiana. What was it? Valdosta, Georgia. I could name so many. And then in WCW in 90, at the end of 92, beginning of 93, again, that was Georgia again, hitting all those same towns that I had hit, going up as high as Tennessee and stuff like that. But a lot of Georgia and the Carolinas and things that were 300-mile radius of Atlanta.
Well, I think Paulie too, at this particular event, he billed it as like enemy territory too, because of WCW and all that stuff. So it does make sense. Just Sabu from like overall, I mean, he doesn't get the credit he's deserved, I think, in wrestling a lot of the ways. I think, he's done so much and really pioneered a lot of the styles and, the identity of ECW too in a lot of ways. And do you kind of agree with that statement?
There's no question about it.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember when he was the only one breaking tables, and he used to be trying to stop other people from doing it. Like those, the guys that went, nah.
Oh, Public Enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would tell me that anytime he wasn't on a show, because he'd be on every ECW show, but he was working for New Japan at the time, so sometimes he'd miss a show, and he said every time he wasn't on a show, Public Enemy would break a table, and it would get him hot because he said everyone was stealing it, and that was his thing, and at first he would just get it in. Like if he lost a match, he would punish himself by jumping through a table and then selling it and rolling, and that's great for his character because he just reminds me of one time he told me this. This is a second-hand story. I think this was pre-RVD, I think, just around that time when Sheik was his assistant. He did something that made Sheik mad one time in the dressing room. And Sheik was sitting down, and he said, "Hey, come over here. And he said, "Lay down so I can kick you." And he did. So we laid down so he could kick him. So that makes me think that maybe that was in his mind when he would punish himself by going through the table after he lost the match and stuff.
That's great. He mentioned too that he would intentionally sometimes miss table spots because he wanted the dirt sheets to think he was crazy. He wanted to blur the lines.
Yeah, he would. And, he would do that, and he would tell me he's going to do it. And then I would see the write-up, and they would be criticizing him, saying that he missed a bunch of spots. Because it was so different, it wouldn't fit in, and the only reason to do it would be, hey, that would happen.
Yeah.
That would happen sometimes. Everything wouldn't be perfect. That would happen sometimes, so we should do it. It was but everyone's gonna think he fucked up, so he would do that for no reason. Like, boom, set me up, chair, top rope. He would slip and fall to the floor, and everyone would be like, "What just happened?" And he wanted that realism and wanted to work the people in the moment so much that, sacrificed some of his credibility with certain marks
and stuff. Yeah. Playing into it. That's so good. I love that. Well, obviously, how great would it be to see him in the Hall of Fame next year for WWE Philly? I mean,
that would be great.
Match made in heaven for you, If anybody should go in for ECW, it's you're already in, obviously, but Sabu's number one too.
Yeah. Hopefully he would. Yeah. sometimes when he does interviews and stuff, he's his own worst enemies, and so he's got to have a good positive energy run for a while to make up for for sometimes when he was really kind of burying himself. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, it's like just looking back at his, the trajectory of his career and stuff like that. It's just like, man, as I get older as a wrestling fan and like being like, wow, yeah, he's had such a huge influence. So
yeah,
it's kind of cool. We get to talk about him here, and then like, he was just doing the thing for AEW. So I think it's great to kind of capture everybody,
I feel like the original Sheik taught Sabu and I both to really be original.
Mm-hmm.
Especially early in my career, people would ask about the difference in style. How could the original Sheik have trained you when you're a high flyer doing these flips, and he's so grounded and grab them and stab them, and I said the psychology, like he taught us all to believe in what we're doing, to believe in every moment. When we're in there, we're committed to that moment, and it's something that unfortunately I see lacking nowadays. And I mean, I wouldn't care to explain it to the public, but I could explain it to the wrestlers for sure.
Absolutely.
But that's one thing I think that Sabu and I both, I think, even though our styles were different, and I was a kickboxer, when I met him, so I brought that. And he didn't do flips or anything like that. I taught him how to do a backflip, and
really?
Yeah, and he taught me how to do everything else, how to wrestle. But I feel like we both really got that from the Sheik about being original, standing out, not taking after somebody, and making our own spot instead of trying to take someone's spot, and doing it the right way, doing it with the right foundation, the right mindset, so that you're not doing something that's never been done before because it's so stupid or dangerous that nobody would fucking want to do it anyway.
Yeah. Now, I think too, it really speaks to the knowledge of the Sheik, because he's showing like, hey, originality is important. And like, not only that, but he was a forward thinker and being like, well, you guys are innovative and do your own kind of like, have your own style and stuff like that. It might not have been what the Sheik did in the ring in certain ways, but like he had the forethought to be like, you guys have it, and that makes you guys stand out and unique, and he was pretty big at embracing, like having you embrace a lot of the stuff. He didn't like kind of he was never like kind of like, oh, don't do that kind of shit, but do this a little bit more. Or what did he kind of find the balance for you guys a little bit?
When I think about the actual training days, we weren't doing like, hey, I want to do a sunset flip over the top rope and power bomb you to the floor. We weren't doing that stuff in front of him anyway. So with him, it was about wrestling. It was about grabbing. It was about trying to beat them. Like that's in our mindset behind the whole time, the whole match, and it doesn't leave, even if we're pausing because of our plan of attack. We don't forget that we're trying to beat him. That would be something he would drill in us. Like, what are you doing? Cover him. He's laying on his back. And
yeah.
There was a lot of that. But it was always with Sheik. It was always about being rougher. Squeeze him harder. Grab him and bring him in closer to your body. And as far as moves, it was basically a lot of it was just about the headlock, a go behind, the arm bars. That was a big part of it, was just always having that to go back to you can grab that from anywhere that you're at. Maybe a sit out and a leg sweep, but there was certain moves that he wanted us to have down. So no matter what, if we were lost, we could always grab an arm bar.
Right.
And, and that was kind of the nucleus of his training.
Man, I'm like so fascinated by him. Like I'm like looking forward to continuing this, like getting more details about him. So I want to pace it out over time though. This is good shit. Did you happen to, I don't know, read the audio book or the book that just came out about him with Brian Solomon?
Yeah, I wrote the foreword for it.
Oh no shit. Okay, great.
Yeah, but I haven't finished the book yet, and it's so good. And I feel bad that I haven't written Brian and told him good job yet, but I want to wait till I'm done.
Yeah.
But it's like it's so lengthy and it's so informative that every once in a while I take a break from it, and then I'll read like 2 or 3 books at the same time. Like I'm reading about right now. I'm almost done with the book that Henry Hill's kids wrote about being on the run in the witness protection program.
Really?
And so like I'll read through that, and then I'll go back and forth sometimes, and let me go back to the Constitution for Dummies, but it depends on what kind of mood I'm in or whatever with reading it. And it's like, it's so, that one's not a quick read. Let me put it that way.
It's a big book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big book.
Very good, very informative, and he did do a great job. And I am going to tell him that, but I want to get through it, and I'm learning all kinds of stuff about Sheik's career that I didn't know. And some of the stuff is interesting because I can see some of the ways that he did things, that he passed on to me.
That's awesome. I know. Well, it's definitely on my reading list too. And maybe we can get Brian on here to one of these shows too.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, that's a good one. All right. So that does it for the wrestling stuff. One of my favorite segments, I'm learning always an education here on One of a Kind. It's Guess the Gangster segment.
Okay.
So I think I got a good one, a good balance here. Maybe you will be like, no, this is a layup. But I'm kind of curious of where you're going to fall out on this one.
Me too.
All right. You ready? Here it is.
Okay.
Boom. Born on November 17th, 1899 in Italy. The older brother of another Gambino member of the family. He limped due to a hip fracture. Specialized in narcotics, particularly heroin, I looked at. And he did some cocaine running too, I believe. And then he was an early pioneer in the drug trade at the end of Prohibition. And he was also, I don't think he was, from what I heard, but he was rumored to be one of the killers of Ali Anastasia, the guy we did last week. So do you know who he is? Older brother. And I believe the younger brother was more famous than he was. And it seemed like the other guy was a pretty notorious name.
Well, it's definitely not an easy one.
He died in 1961. No, he was 61 when he died. So, and then his brother lived to be all the way till 1992, actually.
Oh, no shit. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Like, that's amazing. These guys that were born before the turn of the century and lived through all of this, still being alive in our lifetime.
How wild is that, too? It's like, geez, I was 7 in 92. So like the dude was still kicking then.
Yeah, I don't think I'm. Oh, I don't know. Do you have more clues?
That's all that I got. I'm trying to think offhand if I thought of
due to a hip fracture. No, Gasparilla had the clutch hand. Due to a hip.
He had a pretty good nickname. It was named after a street. That's my probably only other hint I can give you.
Yeah, I tap.
Okay. Stefano, 14th Street, Steve Armand.
Okay. He's Joe Piney, Armand's
Yes,
brother.
exactly. Joe Piney's brother. Mm-hmm.
Got you. Yeah. No, that's a good one. Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not going, oh, I should have known that, because I wouldn't have, because he's, not a main, not a main.
And Joe Piney, he was a capo, wasn't he a capo?
He was also consigliere.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe when they wanted to whack Castellano, Joe Piney said that he wasn't going to vote either way. He wasn't going to get in their way, but he wasn't going to vote on it either way. So when Gotti took over, I think they put him on the shelf, Joe Piney, and then made Sammy the Bull, the underboss, and then eventually allegedly consigliere. But I think that's what happened with Joe Piney was when I think he was the consigliere during Castellano's run, and then when Castellano got whacked, because he didn't vote on whacking Castellano, I think they put him on the shelf, gave him a break, and then who was consigliere? Who was John's guy? They blew him up in their car bomb. Frank DeChico.
Was that a character too in the Irishman? Did they describe him in the Irishman at all? Do you remember?
No, Frank DeChico?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I don't think they crossed paths.
Okay. I was trying to think of that.
Frankie Cheech. Yeah, and then who's the one that went down with them? Who went to jail with them? Because I got him mixed up with someone else. Yeah.
Good brain teaser.
Yeah. Trying to think of who went. Like Sammy has all these stories about him and the other guy, like when they went to jail, how they were going to turn on Gotti and kill him, and then they take over. And I'm blanking on that guy's name, but he was the consigliere after Joe Piney.
How about that? You're gonna remember, but when we're done, that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
it'll hit you when we're done. You'll be like, "Damn it!" You'll wake up in the middle of the night.
I'll just space out, and pretend I'm listening to you while I'm going through the alphabet in my head.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Well, before we get to one of my favorite segments of the show, RVology, we do have a couple of fan questions I got.
Cool.
Yeah, let's see if I can find where it is in my notes here. Oh, here we go. All right. So, we're going to have to do a segment out of this episode, too, I think. Peter asks here, where did your love of Ghost Rider stem from, and are you still reading?
Well, Ghost Rider was the first comic book I can remember picking up, actually. Ghost Rider number 28, Evil is the Orb. And I used to like going to the store with my mom, and when she would shop, I would look at the comic books. And I remember reading Savage Sword of Conan. It was so violent because he'd take a sword and put it like right through somebody's face, you know. And it also had some tits and ass in it. It was like a big magazine size comic, and I used to love that. And Ghost Rider, I think the first one I bought, might have been that Ghost Rider number 28. And I just, I really liked his character, and it was cool that other kids at school didn't know about him. Like the other comic book nerds liked Wolverine, the X-Men, and they didn't know much about Ghost Rider. So I felt like he was like more mine, and he was supernatural. So his powers were like, you know, limitless, unmeasurable. And I just really enjoyed the storyline. And so when I was really hard into collecting, nothing to make my day like being at a random comic store on the road or flea market or something and pulling out a comic that fills a spot, you know, like I needed number 78, the Nightmare, you know, the Nightmare, and it was really cool. Now it seems like collecting would be so easy, being able to get online. I could just buy whatever I don't have. It seems like, so I don't see the thrill of it. And no, I don't read anymore. Like Ghost Rider. I had like a whole collection of Ghost Rider at my other house that was like everything that was made with his trademark, I would buy it. So I had every statue I knew of, every action figure and t-shirts, and even a bunch of random shit, you know, whether it was like a bottle opener, pocket knife, anything. I had 2 display cases full of it because I was a hardcore collector. And when I got divorced and then I moved, I decided that wasn't going to be part of this next chapter in my life, because I went through this rock bottom period where I was scraping my face on the ground, and I had to build myself back together. And I just decided to leave that part out of the new building blocks. And I just decided, you know what? I'm going on into my later part of my 40s and whatever. I think I'm going to leave this shit behind. And I did. I just left all of it. So now I just collect RVD.
Hey, there you go. You know, what did you think of the Ghost Rider movie with Nick Cage?
I was stoked that they did it, did a Ghost Rider movie. You know, I mean, I could critique it because I liked I liked it when he was portrayed more as a darker character, this hell spawn. Originally, he used to fight Satan in the
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, like number 9 is Satan on the cover, and it's like eventually, and the son of Satan was a character in Marvel. Not really politically correct, but eventually they made it so that it was Mephisto,
that was it. Yeah.
pretending he was Satan, and it was like, but it was still cool. I enjoyed the supernatural aspect of his whole adventures.
I think nowadays too, they've done like Daredevil on Netflix, and they've done the Punisher, and that made a more like extreme, darker versions. They could definitely do a good one of Johnny Blaze for sure.
Didn't they do something where he was a race car driver or something? I thought I saw one.
Like in one of the shows.
I can't remember if he had his own.
I'll have to look that up because I would be intrigued to see that.
There was a different human host. Like this. That's the idea, was that the spirit Zarathos was the original Ghost Rider spirit, and he was put in a human host as punishment, and then throughout the years transferred from human to human, and having this life where in his memory was erased and all this shit. So the whole long-term story was him regaining himself and learning about his former self, and I was just so into it. I loved it. I loved the people he would fight when it was like Circus of Freaks and Nightmare, of course, Mephisto, and Spidey's opponents too. He fought them too, Mysterio and anybody. I like it when he would fight Spidey. I like it when they would all fight each other. But there was always a way that, like, because he's supernatural, there's always a way he could do something that we could be like, oh, well, I didn't know he could do that. You know.
Fuck, dude, you want me to go? I've got graphic novels over here. I got to get some Ghost Rider now. It's cool too that it was like he was an outside kind of character too, that like, yeah, you could kind of relate to and be like, all right, this is my guy in particular. I liked X-Men. I was a big X-Men fan, and Gambit was my guy. So everybody liked Wolverine, like you were saying. So I was like, Gambit's pretty cool, he's So it kind of balanced out. So I feel that for sure, man. Okay. Cameron Otoku asks, is cannabis helping you for your pain after all these years working as a wrestler?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It helps. It doesn't take away pain. Like narcotics will actually like take it away, and I'll forget, like, oh yeah, I forgot that my elbow was hurting me, for the last 3 hours because I, took a Norco or something. Mm-hmm. With cannabis, it's more like it allows me to cope with it. So if something's bothering me, and then I use cannabis, it might not bother me anymore. Like I will still be mentally connected to it and still be aware that it doesn't have as much movement, or I can feel sometimes maybe the area is inflamed, like swollen or whatever. But I'm more like, oh yeah, that's right, and it's not a big deal. So it makes it okay. Like just like with a lot of things in life, cannabis really does a lot for coping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm a novice at all that stuff. Is there like a certain strain that kind of helps, or how would you go about like recommending something like a particular?
So basically the rule of thumb is that indica is a stronger kind of high that will numb you more. It's better for pain. It's also better for like maybe stomach problems. But it can make you sleepy, which is also good for helping you sleep. And then a sativa is usually it's considered like more of a functioning bud, and they say it can inspire creativity and give you energy and make you feel good. And so mostly, like, I will keep that in mind. Like, I don't like weed that I smoke and I just want to nap all day.
Right.
And even if I smoke a lot, I will still come across some that does that. Like that's just it's too heavy of an indica for me. So but if I was hurt, especially if I was recovering from surgery or something, I would just be like, just give me indicas. You know what I mean? I'm in bed recuperating. I just want to numb as much as I can and not feel it and rest. So everything has its place with that, with timing and what you're looking for. But most strains seem to be like a hybrid, and so usually for functioning and keeping ahead of the pain so that it's not bothersome, like a good sativa dominant hybrid is something that'll keep me surfing through the day, especially if I don't have like an injury that's really standing out.
Yeah, so just like minor like pains or whatever kind of thing.
Yes, in my back. Yeah. Plane rides beat me up more than matches. And I've said that for my whole career. Like sometimes I'll have a match, a 20-minute match, go all over the arena. And that night I'm like, man, I feel really good. I felt good out there. I feel great now. By the time I only get 2 hours sleep, and then I got to ride an airplane and sleep like this, for a couple hours. And then sometimes I have a connection and I have to fucking walk across an airport and get on another plane and do the same thing again. By the time I get home, I'm usually pretty stiff that day. And I've always said that it's the plane ride that beats me up more than the actual matches. And they're made like the way they kind of curve in.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like the shoulders actually come in, and it's like, I'm shaped the opposite. I have like an extreme curvature of my back that's contradictive to being comfortable and something like that. I got to put like a big pillow behind my back, and that's my only hope.
That was me fucking riding home from On Spirit this past time. Feeling that pain.
Headrests too, like even in cars, I always wonder, like, why do they have the headrest like come in like that?
Right.
Like I want to like straighten it out. If anything, maybe bend it back.
Yeah, right.
I'm not gonna. I don't know who does that. Who puts their head back against the headrest and just decides that's comfortable when they're driving. I don't know, but when it's leaning forward, I'm like, hey, can someone do something about this headrest? In a car or on an airplane. Like, fuck, dude, how am I gonna be comfortable like this?
Holy shit. Jeez. Yeah. All right, last question. It's from the guy who helps curate this, Instagram and wrestling historian. He asked, the dirt sheet said it was going to be you versus Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania 21 before your knee injury. Is that true? And if so, do you know who was going to go over? It sounds like almost an Ask Vince question, but do you know anything, Rob?
Ask Vince. I really don't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if that was going to be the match or what. So, yeah, I don't know on all of that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Fair enough. All right. It is time for RVology. Rob, what I learned from your last week's last recording, I made a conscious effort to kind of just support other people as it went on, especially being on social media and things like that. Sometimes you see things get tweeted out and you're like, oh, I could like that. Or, and sometimes you just scroll on through. But this time I was just like, somebody's trying to get their word out about something. Right. Or, whatever. And so, yeah, I'll like it. Or I think there was a YouTube video, too. I thought about this before we recorded. I was like, there was a YouTube video. Say what?
Spark them if you got them. Right?
Exactly. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Light them up if you got them, for sure.
For listeners.
Yes. But I remember, too, being like, oh, they got me. Because it was kind of like one that was almost clickbaity. And I clicked on it. And I was like, oh, they got me. And
and then you liked it.
And then I ended up liking it. So,
yeah. Yeah, well, good. And then have you seen a payoff for that yet?
In certain regards, I think so. What I kind of find satisfying too is if the person reacts like they definitely responded or something like that. Like I always try to thank people and stuff like that. Especially if they're giving me credit or anything like that, or they say something nice to me. I want to make an effort out of the way to, hey, thank you for giving me that kind of feedback, even if it's like kind of constructive too. But so a lot of the times, I'm trying to think in particular if there was anything really, but no, but it definitely created more of a positive sense on social media, I think.
So you put yourself into a bigger pool of positivity, so that's good. The reason I ask about the payoff is just that karma comes back in many forms, and something might have stuck out in your mind,
Yeah. I think some of the cool feedback that we've gotten from the show has been kind of rewarding in a lot of ways, and just like even just the random stuff. Hell, my mom commenting, I was like, dude, that's kind of nice. I
Yeah,
didn't even prompt her, so
yeah. No, that's awesome. Like I think I don't have any interest in like going backwards, so that makes it growth. You know what I mean? Like here's what I'm thinking that I'm trying to articulate. Like Katie kind of introduced me into like a whole new world of girls that actually want you to look at them.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like so different. So like I think about where I was before, where I wasn't even allowed to look at anything, or else I was doing something wrong and I should feel guilty for some reason. And and I'm being but from there to where it's like she knows like all of her friends, are the reason that they're posing on Instagram and showing you their ass is because they want to get a lot of likes. And so, and I'm all about that. Guess what? I want to look at them too. So, hey, good job. You know what I mean? And it doesn't even matter if it's someone that's like a girlfriend or a wife of someone that I know that's a dude or whatever, then I'm just gonna give them a like and like scroll on as opposed to falling in love with the picture. Which sometimes it's like, damn, look at this. But yes, by her being so positive and her, wanting me to like those and to support, I think, and that's a good thing and stuff. It's like that's like a whole new world of happiness around me now that is surrounding me. And I think of where I was before with haters, where people just hate on each other, and it's like, God, like I wouldn't want to go back to that. It's
It's kind of like what do they call it? Like the red pill almost, where it's like, oh, he wakes up and be like, Jesus, life isn't kind of like that, where you're just
yeah.
Jeez. All right. Well, Rob, the floor is yours here, man, for some RVDology. Let's get to kicking on it.
Okay. So I just want to touch upon this ideology that I have. I think that people in general are very uncomfortable with what they don't know. And that's an issue because then they fill in the gaps with bullshit. It might be something that they know is bullshit, or they just make something to fill up the blanks, and then it makes them feel more comfortable. But it could be still like really far from the truth. And so, something that's important to me is knowing what I know. And in order to know what I know, I have to know what I don't know. And so that's what's really is important. You need to know that most of the time, what you don't know is so much more than what you do know about anybody, a person, about a circumstance, about anything. You just don't know, and how can you? Like, what do you really know? Way back when I was, well, I guess I was 18. 18 or 19, because I was training for the Tough Man contest, the first one, I think. Anyway, this dude that was training me, he did a lot of really unorthodox training, and he put this principle in my head about only committing to what you really know. And one of the ways he explained it, he said he pointed at the screen on his door. The upper half had a window cut out where there was a screen of this push open door. And he said, how big is that screen? And I was like, I guess it's like, I don't know, 2.5 feet. He said, is it? I don't know. He said, well, how big is it? I guess he said, no, just tell me what you know. And I was trying to grasp his meaning. It was like, what do I really know for sure that I can tell him about? That's not just a guess,
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at it and I was like, I don't know. And he said, well, put your hand up there on the screen. And so I did. I put my hand up there and he said, is the screen bigger than your hand? I said, yeah. He said, well, there you go. You know that. The screen is bigger than your hand. And I was like, that's true. Like, I know that, but what else do I really know? And that really like hit home with me, and I adapted that and made that part of my perspective always. The older I get and the more I focus on my own spiritual growth, the more important that has become. But people try to put words in my mouth all the time, and I just say I don't know, because I don't know. It could be anything, you know. Hey, they found a hidden camera in the hotel room. Wow, so that means that person was watching footage of them and jerking off, huh? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't.
Yeah.
People are uncomfortable with not knowing everything. And so a lot of people, it's just their habit to fill in the blanks or to be like a shitty detective and try to come up to a resolution really quick. And you know, it's like, oh man, your tire is flat. Damn, that means you've been driving around with a flat tire all day then, huh? I don't know. How would I know that? You know what I mean? If you buy a dog and you know that you're going to be burying that dog, if you think, well, you know, the dog's only going to live so long, I know someday I'm going to be burying the dog, you're fooling yourself. How could you possibly know that you're going to outlive the dog?
True.
It's people's subconscious, it's their default system to not think the way that I'm telling you to, but it's keeping it real. I mean, you could have your grandpa come in and move in with you because he's old and needs somebody to take care of him. And in your mind, you might think that you're going to outlive him and you're going to have to plan his funeral, but you do not know that. And if you think you know that, then you're not keeping it real with yourself. And I think it's important to keep it real with yourself. A lot of times, if I talk about the future, I will add, I hope, or I'll add, you know, God willing. And I'm not someone to throw the name God out a whole lot. So for me, a lot of times I'll say, I hope, you know, or if I'm still alive. Kit Likens, my kickboxing instructor, texted me, hey, I heard you're going to be in Battle Creek or something. And I said, yeah, on September 30th, if I'm still alive. And that's how I think about it. Like, it seemed like it was so far away. And then I started thinking about it for a few days, and I was like, I better follow up with that. He might take that wrong. He might think, you know, that I'm going through something, or, you know, and so I was like, it's just so far ahead, you know, that I add that in. But I do, you know, if someone says, hey, are you going to be in you know, are you going to Canada in January? I cannot know. And so it's my one of my ways, my ideology to throw in that at least to know in your head that you just don't know. You don't know what's going on with someone else, you know. Hey, man, I don't care what the deal is, man. You don't ever punch a woman. This guy, I saw this guy hit his lady at the gas station. Man, I beat his fucking ass. I don't care what the deal is. Well, okay. What if that woman happened to have stolen everything from him? What if that woman killed his wife and kidnapped his baby? And what if, I don't know, you know, what if that woman was swinging and hit him 10 times first? Absolutes is a whole different subject, which I do talk about. I don't believe in absolutes because everything is circumstantial, but everything all lines up because it all makes sense, just like nonfiction. It all ties in together. So because of that, we only know what we know, and it's really not that much in comparison to the bigger picture. You know, we can tell each other, you know, like, yeah, we're going away next weekend. We're going to go on vacation. And you can tell yourself that you know that, and you should plan on being around. You should plan on being alive. But if you really want to keep it real with yourself, maybe add in, we're going on vacation next weekend, God willing. And the reason it's important, I think, there's a few reasons, but one that I think I can explain about keeping it real with yourself is then you won't be so shocked, and then you can handle when bad things happen. Because being shocked, being surprised, being caught off guard, that's not a good thing. That's you being vulnerable. That's you probably being damaged. And so it's best to just know that, hey, maybe make the most of spending the time with your loved ones right now, because you don't know that you're all going to be getting together again on Christmas next year. You don't fucking know. And when somebody passes away or something, people get shocked. People are still shocked that Eddie Guerrero died. It happened like so long ago. And I'm not talking bad about them, but I'm saying there's something to being prepared for the inevitable and being prepared for anything could happen, just by being real with yourself and saying that you really don't know how the events are going to unfold. All you can do is build the right tools so that you can make the right decisions, know your priorities, and live your life the best to your own values. But know that you don't know everything.
Man, holy smokes.
Yeah.
You know, well, do you know if you're going to be here next week to record? Are we going to, do you know that?
I certainly hope so.
There we go.
Do you know?
God willing.
Right.
God willing, I'll be there. So
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how I apply that this week. I'm looking forward to trying.
Who's that? The wrestler, you know, that like they were with Bray Wyatt, and they had the characters, and the Brody Lee.
Brody Lee, yes.
Remember, you don't think Brody Lee, when he was around with his family, you don't think they knew that they were going to be getting together for New Year's Eve? They
Right.
thought they knew that, but it didn't happen. You know, that's real life. And you know, the longer you're alive, the more people you see pass. That's one thing that I've learned. And I've seen a lot of people go. It's not even just about that, but that's one really heavy way to make it really sink in, so that hopefully people can understand my point, is like, you don't know what's going to happen.
It's a sobering feeling, but it does help set the bar for you. Like, kind of,
Yeah.
okay, you know, tamper your expectations for sure. So, good stuff, Rob. Good stuff.
Thanks, man. So next week, you can tell me your stories about how many times you had to add God willing and how
right. I will.
it's better about having the perspective of the bigger picture in line with reality.
Absolutely. Wait till I start spamming you with that too on through text.
That'd be awesome. Everybody leave comments about
Yes.
if you can relate to any of this shit.
Absolutely.
Tell me if I'm helping you. Tell me if you agree, if you disagree with RVDology. Tell me you still remember that match when I beat Cena.
Yeah, that part too. Anything else you want to plug, Rob? I know you're kind of taking it easy in June, right? But then things are starting to pick back up later on.
Actually, I think June I got 2 or 3 trips in June. The next travel for me is going to be June 11th. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida, at River City Wrestling at a convention, and Katie and I will both be there. So that's coming up the weekend after next. So until then, I got time to be home and catch up on a bunch of other stuff, both production and personal.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Hey guys, yeah, be sure to follow RVD at The Real RVD. You can follow me at Dominic D'Angelo. Follow the podcast at RVD Pod. And you can check out all the clips and everything like that at rvdpod.com. But you can get the full episode here. If you're seeing us on the Premier Streaming Network, and you can go to watchonpremier.com to check that out. So as far as anything else, I think that's all I really have to plug. So cool. Rob, this has been a great show. Holy crap. I learned a lot.
I don't know if I mentioned this before, but this just like popped in my head earlier, and it just came back in my head. I was talking about asking you if you noticed ways, you know, that like spreading the hearts were coming back to you. I was just talking about karma. You know, they did a show, Rich and Shameless, there's a show called, and they just
heard about that. Is it on TNT, I think?
I think it's on ID, but I don't know. You might be right. You might be right. I think you are right. Yeah. Because I remember, because that's what they said they were going to be on. They wanted me to be on the show they were going to do on Hulk Hogan. right?
Oh.
And the way that they pitched it to me was, oh, they'll talk about my career, talk about his career, this and that. And when I saw Hulk, I mentioned it to him, and he said, yeah, they want to drag up a bunch of shit from the past. He said, I didn't tell you this, right?
No, you didn't tell me this. No.
He said, I just remembered, I can't tell you how it pays off yet.
That's okay.
Well, he didn't want me to. He said, I'd rather you not do it. And anyway, he said, they bring up all this old shit, and then my phone ain't ringing, and it's like it goes against me. And I'm like, yeah, but I'd be standing up for you. I'd be saying, you said, yeah, I'd rather you do it. So I was like, well, enough said. Hulk's the dude, that I used to watch growing up. He's the guy that I still feel like a fan around, like when he's Hulk Hogan. But anyway, enough said, that I won't do it. And I watched it the other day, and it was all about that sex tape. But so I turned that down. But as soon as I did, I got this other project about a big RVD project that I guess I can't really talk about yet. But I think you know about it anyway. I think I probably told you. But
You might have. We'll talk about it when I hit end broadcast. That's what will happen.
Anyway, that's just karma. So it was like much bigger to have something about me than about him. That it came around to like boom. So wants to do this with you. Boom. I try and pay attention to that. Sometimes you never know. But you can be sure there might be something that might not have happened had this happened in the past. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
It all goes around circle, man. All around circle.
Yes, sir. All right, cool, dude. Well, I enjoyed the talk. Know what you don't know. Just because you see a guy running down the sidewalk and everybody chasing him doesn't necessarily mean he's a bad guy. You don't know what happened.
You don't know what happened.
Don't shoot him.
Right.
How about cops? They get a call. They'll just go up to. I see this all the time. Videos of this. They go up to somebody, the wrong person, and they just go right up to them. They'll say, "All right, put your hands on there." I said, turn around and put your hands up there. You're not complying. Quit resisting. And they got the wrong guy because they got a call, or sometimes they got the right guy and the call was just so fucked up. Like the call said that they were doing a bunch of shit that they weren't even doing. And so the cop, he doesn't know anything. You should not take that call as even reasonable suspicion, let alone as facts.
Right. There's the detective work that comes into that too.
Right. Investigate.
Yes.
Same thing with those, what are they called? The raids when kids are playing video games.
The swatting when they get swatted.
Yeah. Same thing. It's like those cops go in there not knowing what they think they know.
Right.
They go in there not knowing anything, and they got to realize that, and figure out, like you said, do some investigating.
Right. Your whole house gets destroyed. Jeez, what the hell?
A couple more examples if you don't understand it.
Right. Hey, hit us up. Hit us up in the comments if you don't get it. We'll get you. Cool. Hey, guys, God willing, hopefully we'll see you next week here.
Yes.
With RVD.
I hope so.
Sabu, something that I've really enjoyed about doing this podcast is kind of learning more about the Sheik too in general, and then just how you helped Rob, and Rob talks about the Sheik helping him too. And what's a big aspect of value that you really garnered from learning from your uncle and stuff like that? If you had to choose something that really he's instilled to you in the business that you kind of convey to other people.
I only smiled when I did stuff I was proud of. I didn't like doing stuff I wasn't proud of. So I try to stay away from that. So he always said, don't do nothing you're not proud of. Now, I've done a few things I wasn't proud of, but I've done more things than I was, And even though I burned the bridge, at the time I was proud of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not proud now, but at the time when the bridge was burning, I go, bridge is burning, fuck you. But I always wanted to do something like they go, wouldn't you think you would have been better off if I took the money back in 1994 when they offered me to be the Sultan? I go, yeah, but I wouldn't be proud of myself. I'd be doing something that someone else told me to do. And I was becoming hot. I was becoming hot to want to conform to something else or somebody else. When I had my own momentum going, and I wanted to keep it going. I didn't want help from them,
Right. Mm-hmm.
I thought they were just going to say, okay, your momentum going, go ahead. But they're saying, your momentum's going, but we want to fix it,
Right. they want to put a hat on you when you don't need a hat, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's how I looked at it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like, who knows how that would even worked out if it did? Like, maybe you could have made money, but maybe it just wasn't going to be a fit at all for you, and then that would have threw your career at a completely
it could have been, but I wouldn't have been proud of myself.
Yeah, right, exactly. And like, I mean, it could have turned out in a negative way for you, like ultimately, like if
I think it would have.
Yeah, they trust your instincts too.
But also, yeah, I mean, I share those values too. Like, I'm loyal first, and even if it's not best for business financially or whatever, I read a comment in the YouTubes that was saying to replace this guy. You know what I mean? And it's like, but I would never do that though, because you're the one that fucking put this together and came to me and somehow talked me into doing it. Right. And and that same thing like with even like my book, I started doing something with a guy, and now I've had some offers, that they would do like way better now if I sold this guy out and went to the better option thing, but I'm loyal, and so my plans are to still stick with what I told this guy. You know what I mean? Like, those are maybe it would be more business, but that wouldn't be me, just like that wouldn't be Sabu. Like, we wouldn't be happy with ourselves feeling like we screwed someone over to get ahead.
Guys, enter the room dick first. Big Dick Dudley dick first. Blue Chew isn't just a tablet, it's a cheat code for your crotch. Stronger, harder, longer lasting, like someone gave your downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. Guys, this isn't about performance. This is about legacy, or third legacy. Give our group chat something to talk about. When you lay it down, they're talking about how it gets up. Nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. And we got a special deal for our listeners. As always, get your first month of Blue Chew free. FREE. Just use promo code RVD at checkout and pay $5 for shipping. That's it. Join Blue Chew's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. Head to BlueChew.com for details and safety info. And big thanks to Blue Chew for sponsoring One of a Kind with RVD. All right. Hey, everybody. This is Dominic D'Angelo of, where am I? Inside.
And this is Rob Van Dam.
And that's Rob Van Dam right there. And this is episode, I want to say it's 17 of One of a Kind. And yes,
hey.
Rob, how you doing today, man?
Excellent, dude. Very good, man. This week went by so quick. I can't believe it's trash day again already. Like, it was like I just pulled my trash cans in from the curb and pulling them right back out tonight. I hope. I forget, like, sometimes a couple of weeks in a row, and that shit piles up. But that's the plan.
That's a tough thing. I know. I got a dumpster in the back of my apartment complex, so I just throw my junk in there, and then I don't worry about it. So I can only imagine it's like, God, I would always forget to take the trash out. I know I would. It just happened.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, dude, all good. Fantastic, as the kids are saying nowadays.
That's the way to do it. Heck, man, it was fantastic seeing you this past weekend at Starcast. We did a little stage show and had a little interaction with fans and stuff, so that was pretty cool.
Yes, indeed. That was cool.
Yeah, we got to talk about the Sheik and interact with some people, and then the fire alarm went off on us while we were still in the hotel, and so we did the job to that for a little bit, but
yeah, and didn't hurt the tables one bit, at least not where we were.
Nope, not at all. We were not in the least.
But yeah, it was fun. Got to see a lot of friends. The Hardy Boys, hung out with them a lot, and Rick Steiner. Real quick, I saw Marty Jannetty downstairs. Real quick.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people were just like real quick. Jeff Jarrett and Karen Jarrett, Cody Jarrett.
Yep. And then you ran into Kawada too.
Oh my God, dude! Thank you for reminding me, man. That I forgot. Like, that flashed in my mind earlier because I was doing an interview for the Battle Creek show coming up for the radio, and I was talking about how the Sheik trained me so stiff, no one wanted to work with us, and then Al Snow and Mike Kelly worked on us lightening up, and then in Japan they wouldn't react to us, so I stiffened up again. And I was thinking of Kawada, and that was so awesome to see him at Starcast, because I can't imagine the last time I saw him. I mean, 99 at the latest. It was probably much earlier, probably much before that. And he looked great. You know, he still, it was almost emotionless for the most part, but he used to be heavier and have, grays that went away. And he just overall always looked miserable, maybe like Billy Gunn.
Maybe like Billy Gunn.
But he would always have that scowl, and just to see him, man, he thinned up. He lost a lot of weight. He looked healthy, and he looked younger, actually. He must be on my program. It was awesome to see him, though. Yeah. And he's kicked the shit out of me and stuff. I said, I owe you some receipts.
Yeah, you did tell him that.
What? Yeah. They're trying to translate. I was like, never mind, Joe Dunn.
You had your Japanese down pretty good, though. He
was laughing at it, though.
So he was always he was very stoic, very much, was he always like that too?
Always. He was stoic, but he was really stiff in the ring. And honestly, I started wrestling in Japan when I was 22. Just turned 22, a couple months before my first tour of Japan. So I was so young. Like I said before, I didn't even know how to fly. I was hanging on to wrestlers' coattails at the airport. Don't leave me.
Please.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's what it was like being over there. Can't believe I got on subway trains and stuff with those guys, but couldn't do it by myself, especially at that level of experience. But I used to just think Kawada hated us. I used to think that he hated Americans, because some of the Japanese were racist, prejudiced, especially if you went around Hiroshima. It was sad to be around there. And I remember going there with Test and Stacy Keebler, and I think Mike Kyoto was with us, and we all were like we didn't do nothing, but we kind of felt guilty. That's how the bad feeling manifested in us, because you're learning about the generations and generations of family that are destroyed from the radiation, from the bomb that we dropped there. And anyway, we felt a lot of that when I started going to Japan, especially the smaller towns. Mm-hmm. And they have the right to tell you, fuck off, you can't be here, which is different than the United States. Several times we'd go to get in a cab, or even try to go into a bar to, grab a beer or something, and they'd see us and they block us right at the door, and they say, Gaijin Nai. And at first, we were like, hey, fuck you can't tell me I can't. And then it's like, oh, they can? Oh, my bad.
Oh, okay. I guess I can't then.
My bad. Gomenasai, kudasai. But they can. And so it's different there. So I thought Kawada probably, and for political reasons, probably hated working with the Americans and us coming over and whatever. But I always just had that impression from him.
Sure. And too, that lost in translation aspect of it all, where you're not you don't know what they're saying, and they might not know what you're saying, and it's just how do you get that kind of dynamic there?
There was one time just popped in my mind one time, and this was the turning point for me, because like I said, he used to kick me really hard all the time, and if I was too light coming in, I'd get no reaction, and I had to learn to change it, and that I'm trying to look for the right word. That turning point, that spot in my history was a 6-man tag match. And it was him and 2 Japanese partners against myself, Dr. Death, Steve Williams, and Terry Gordy. And I was out there with Kawada, and he did something, maybe an enziguri or something, or dropped toe hold even. Whatever it was, I went down face first. And while I was on my hands and knees, that dude Kawada gave me a football kick right to the face.
Holy shit.
Boom. Right. And before I even knew what was going on, Doc and Gordy hit the ring, and chased him out, and then chased the other guys off the apron, and then came over to me and were like, "Are you all right, man? That's fucked up," And I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm fine. Don't worry about it." And Doc was like, "Kick him as hard as you can." And I was like, "Oh, believe me, I'm going to." And I was so stiff with him every time I'd work with him after that, until he finally was like, take it easy or something. And then now I look back at it like, yeah, he taught me respect for the art of the business, and looking back, he did seem like an asshole to me, but by him doing that, I mean, he totally made me step my game up, which I needed to do.
Yeah. And it's like, it's almost like a proving ground too, where it's like, hey,
quite the opposite from like grabbing someone's dick and then taking a flip bump. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Kawada wasn't gonna do that unless I could really fucking throw him by his dick, and that's the opposite between respect for the business and making a joke out of it.
Yeah, but 100%. It's like you're adding legitimacy to it. Like when, like, hey, if you can take this kind of shit and this kind of punishment that goes down, and it just makes you better. Like iron sharpens iron in a lot of ways. So
and after that, it was like, yeah, I wanted everybody in the crowd to know they wouldn't survive a normal match that I would go through every night. So that's why I really got into my selling and try to get as much as I could out of it physically every night. And All Japan was about that. We didn't have a lot of characters. There was like Kamala. Well, he was the second Kamara, Ben Peacock, or Kamala too. Also, he wrestled as when they tagged. But that dude, he would paint his face and his belly. Patriot wore a mask. That was about it. Sometimes Patriot would have a partner. The Falcon or Jungle Jim wore a mask as the Wolf for a minute, but it was mostly about the athleticism, the competition, and what happened in the ring, and that was cool. Now there's other styles like DDT, which I believe is where Dick Suplexing guy is from. In fact, I'm pretty sure he is. And man, when I watched that, because I've been exposed to it twice. Once when I was there, because Noah ran a show that was co-promoted with them, and once since then, and I'm watching like this, like, oh my God, what are they doing? And it's like, have you seen it, DDT? It's so bad.
I've seen some. I think I've seen maybe brief stuff of DDT.
Well, I know bad is subjective, but I mean, it's gay over the top, gay, funny, comedy, gay,
like flamboyant, like
drop his trunks down to where his nuts are hanging out, and then teabag his guy and rub his ass back and forth across his face.
Oh my God.
All kinds of stuff. That dude goes up to the top rope to squat down like he's going to splash. The guy catches him and goes and sticks his finger up his butthole in front of like everybody. That's DDT. It's like a total different art form. Not for me, and especially, of course, I'm going to be offended because of what I've already told you about the respect that was kicked into me. But yeah, that's the other side of the spectrum.
Oh man, imagine Kawada and fucking DDT. You'd have to regulate.
Yeah, right. Imagine the Sheik.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Cut everybody up and set the ring on fire.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Now, what was Sheik's reaction to when you worked in Japan? Like, did he give you kind of feedback, or did he kind of watch and see you in some of those matches and stuff like that?
Yeah, he liked Baba. Mm-hmm. I remember that. He liked Baba. He had a good relationship with Baba. He was happy for me. He knew I was gonna learn a lot over there. Yeah. I don't really remember that much more about him and me in Japan. I just know, like, Sabu was wrestling in Japan, but he was always for a while with a different company. It was FMW. Mm-hmm. I was always All Japan from February of '93 till I thought it was '97, but now I think recently I've read it was '99 when Mr. Giant Baba died and Mrs. Baba took over, and I did one more tour after that. And then Sabu, grew so big that he worked himself up from FMW to New Japan, and he was a big, maybe the top indie guy in the business, and he was with New Japan at that time, and And then eventually he came over to All Japan with me, and that was great for me because he taught me a lot about how to get around in Japan, how to find food and a gym and a tan, no matter where we're at, what town. Taught me a lot of how to speak it and stuff like that. So I was grateful when he came over, and not so grateful when he started getting heat, because they would tell him, "Don't break a table tonight," and what's he do? Breaks the table.
Oh man,
stuff like that.
Yeah, got to cultivate some goodwill there.
Yeah, he's always stubborn that way.
Right.
He felt like it was right for business, then he just did it and just said, "Hey, they don't understand. Easier to apologize,"
Right. Yeah. Ask for forgiveness later, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, speaking of, what did I want to? Oh yeah, I wanted to hit up a little feedback here. I don't know if you noticed.
You got some polarizing feedback. I don't know if you've
did. How about it?
Yeah. You got some people on there, some of them that are like, "Dude, dump this guy."
Yeah, they're like, fucking yes man. What else would I call it? Still the Smiley Goon. I was called a mark several times. And listen, I think too, it's like, it was a lot of the cornet people. And they were saying that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And,
which by the way, I probably will go and watch. I haven't seen the video when he talks about my match with Jack Perry, which is, some of them think that we were talking about that, and I was only talking about my entrance and him saying that I looked stiff from that. But, stiffer than a porcupine's penis and Penfield on prom night, and let me see if I can say like 8 more times.
I'd say kind of. That's my big.
I say, when I watch this back, I'm like, I say, that many times. What the fuck? They don't know. You're telling them.
I say kind of and obviously a lot.
I probably will watch it, but I don't think that you were that negative. I didn't watch what you said about it, but everyone was like, he didn't say anything bad about RVD. I didn't think, and then, and I was just speaking on what you said about he didn't understand my Rolling Thunder, and I was just speaking on that. So I don't think I said anything malicious, although I did offer that, if he thought differently because he thought that I was too old and too stiff, then he could eat a dick. I offered that.
Yes.
Or leave it on the table. But
yeah.
But besides that, I don't think you said anything too bad. But I know that you said something about that. He said something about I could qualify for AARP.
That's he mentioned that on the clip, and then he also nearing the end. He said something else too that was like, and it wasn't he didn't criticize like your moveset or nothing to that effect. It was just like overall, it was just kind of like nothing.
Well, I got you. You're gonna get more heat now for saying this. I'm not trying to do that. I should have just left it at that. But
I stand by what I said for the most part too, because it's like he was negative, and like that's kind of his shtick with all that stuff. And so. But
from all the comments, though, I look more forward to seeing it. Like before, I was like, I probably don't want to see what he said after the first part. But after everyone said, he was really complimentary of RVD, and that's rare, and he respects RVD, and hey, he said good things about you. So because the fans hit me with all that, I will eventually check it out. So I just wanted to
I definitely encourage you to check it out. I would like to get your perspective on it too. And like
whatever.
Yeah.
It's someone talking about someone else. But
yeah. Cornette didn't put down RVD. He was more critical of the circumstances of the match and RVD himself. He praised RVD being able to still go. And then
praise the Lord.
Yes.
I'd like to pass this praise on to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
And if you know anything about Cornette, he was actually massively complimentary of RVD in the match. Doesn't happen often. So I didn't pick up on that, but hey, maybe they saw something or heard something I didn't. But
maybe you had your dark colored glasses on and saw.
Maybe I was being the one being negative. Maybe that was it.
Maybe, yeah. Hey, keep it down.
And here's some positive feedback. Josh Henney, who was on the Kevin Nash podcast, or the Nash and Friends, asked you about what he should be taking and stuff like that, and he got it. He got the Kratom powder. It says, looking forward to trying this out. Thank you for the input, RVD. So
Yep, I look forward to hearing back from Josh on how helpful, if at all, that Kratom is for him. I think people were surprised that my first choice when they asked what's something natural they can take for pain, they thought automatically I was going to go with marijuana. So that's not for pain. No, I mean, it's on my list, but I would definitely put Kratom ahead of it. Kratom is a ground up leaf from the coffee plant family. They make a powder out of it, comes in capsules. The capsules suck. The powder tastes bad, but that's what I deal with. People make tea out of it or put it in whatever. I put water in my mouth to protect my tongue, and then I dry scoop it and then and then swallow more. It tastes so bad, dude. It's like what was that shit at the Jamba Juice they used to sell that with that green like grass, like you're playing football and you're face down in the turf or something. Wheatgrass.
Wheatgrass, yeah.
In my opinion, it's like twice as bad as wheatgrass, but it works on your opiate sensors in your brain, and it works. And a lot of my friends that were hooked on opiates got off of that because they were able to take Kratom, and it solved the same symptoms that they needed help with, which a lot of people, are looking for help with anxiety or just even overall mood. But, great sleep, incredible sleep on Kratom. And, mostly for me, I take it for pain. Mm-hmm. It's like, you don't need Vicodin if you take some, but a lot of people also get high off of Kratom, and I often forget that because I don't know if it's because of my level of susceptibility to it. I don't know, but I would have to take a lot of it to start feeling a little buzzed. And I know that it is something people take recreationally, and people also can reportedly get addicted to Kratom as well. So let me put that out there as an FYI.
Yeah, and moderation's always good, And you mentioned too, like when Josh asked you about, what to take, you did say weed was more for tolerance than anything else. Like you're just
and culpability.
That's the word.
That's how I explain it. Really, like you got things that bother you or whatever, and you smoke, and then it's like I don't know what comedian it was that said, it's you don't give a fuck afterwards. I got that problem. I don't give a fuck. I got this problem. I don't give a fuck. It makes it so that it's like, okay, I do got that problem. Okay, I do have to cut the grass, but fuck it. Hey, it's a great day out. Sometimes it turns your mood around because it actually, it affects everybody different, but it tunes up my vibration, makes me feel better, and then everything comes across better then. But like for pain, it's more like it doesn't like go away, it doesn't block it. It's not like I would smoke and then be not cognizant that I'm limping or that my knee is not moving as good. But it would be like, okay, it hurts, big deal. It's not gonna ruin my day, or
right.
I'm not gonna focus on it. Whereas with painkillers, they tend to actually do that. Like forget you're hurt, if they work good, if you got the right dosage, the right one that works for you. And Kratom's more like that for me, where I forgot I was bitching about my back hurting earlier, something like that.
Yeah. Now, do you still take painkillers from time to time if you need to, or is it you just?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I was curious. Yeah, if you did that, or if you were just like, I got other methods to kind of cope and
Yeah.
Feel
Yeah, no, they're in my circulation of my go-tos when I need them. So, and like I said on Nash's podcast, I expect I would get a lot of pushback, which I haven't read the comments. I almost said condoms.
I read condoms all the time.
This is I didn't read the comments yet, but this is a stance and how I have felt for a long time. Drugs have a bad rap, because some people can't use them without abusing them. People want to take drugs off the market and blame the drugs. I think usage is one thing that's appropriate, and abuse is an entirely different thing. most people that even consume prescription drugs, because we can argue about, caffeine and, sugar, whatever you want to, but with prescription drugs, most people that use pharmaceuticals do not have any substance abuse problems whatsoever. And I know this sounds insensitive to people that have lost somebody. Believe me, I've lost plenty of somebody's, been to too many funerals. And I still don't see how we would blame the pill itself. And then it makes it harder for people that could really benefit from that. People that, and who am I to judge who needs it? Like, people will feel better if I say people that have cancer that are dying, fading away with pain, and it makes them feel better. But who am I to judge? Whatever it is, someone that qualifies and can use responsibly, why make it so much harder for them because somebody that got addicted and got out of control? For me, I don't see it that way. And Nancy Reagan back in the day taught us, just say no to drugs. Okay, so when you get your teeth worked on, you're not going to do drugs. When you have a baby, when you have surgery on your leg, when you get your leg amputated, you don't want anything to numb it, because those are drugs and you're using drugs. Or do you want to draw the lines? You know what I mean? And so then they came up with this Controlled Substance Act, which has categories of where they think all of the drugs should fall into line in consideration with penalties, really. And so it's like, okay, but they're all drugs. So do we say no to drugs, or can we say drugs overall are a good thing? There's a few drugs that, in a very small amount too, if you think about how many illicit drugs, street drugs are there out there that you hear of that are being used? Not that many. I mean, it would be really, really hard to come up with 10.
Right. No, it would be. It very much would be.
Yeah. And so for people to say drugs are bad, you use drugs. It's like, dude, you use drugs too. You just don't even know it, first off, because you draw your line, I guess, your imaginary line somewhere different. But overall, man, drugs work. That's why people take it. They take drugs to help them sleep at night. Ambien. Oh, you didn't know that was a drug? You're not counting that when you're saying drugs are bad? Come on. So overall, I just like to look at that subject for what it really is in its most literal context.
Right. Yeah. No, it is true too. It's like, and everybody, it's subjective to everybody. Like, it really depends on the person and your chemical makeup and all that kind of stuff of how you're going to react to things. And, and it depends on who you are. Like, if you have an addictive personality or something like that, it might react to you differently and all that stuff. There's just a lot to factor in. So, I'm with you. It's like people just have the closed-minded tunnel vision on how drugs are, what they interpret as, so. But yeah. Somebody I wanted to touch upon, I don't know if you ever ran into him or not, but he passed away yesterday, the Sheik Adnan Casey. Did you ever have any interactions with him? I know he worked in AWA and World Class, had a little stint in WWE a couple times, but 84 years old he passed away at.
I saw that, and I don't believe so. To the best of my knowledge, I don't know who the guy is.
Okay. Yeah, but I like his crazy backstory. He was like high school friends with Saddam Hussein, and then he had to flee the country. Yeah, flee the country in 1980 and stuff, and play college football. And so yeah, I was curious because he went by Sheik Adnan Casey too. So I was kind of curious too if him and the original Sheik ran into one another or anything. But yeah, I wanted to see if you knew him at all.
Was he with Global Wrestling? Do you know?
He might have been. I know he was up in that area. So like,
I don't know. I just remember there was a few Sheiks, and when I was like breaking into the business, I was learning all these different Sheiks that were not the original, and that's all I thought of a lot of them,
Yeah, right. He's not the original, so you can't do that. And even when you type in the Sheik on Google, your Sheik pops up, the original Sheik, and it says the original Sheik. So
as it should.
As it should. So, Let me see what else we got here. Oh yeah. So I did a New York Jets podcast a couple months ago, and we talked about my Jets fandom. But he made the comparison. He was like, so this is Scott Mason. He says in this week's mailbag, Mark Run asked if the new Jets Aaron Rodgers were a wrestler, who would he be? My answer is the real RVD. He says he's got a laundry list of reasons why. Some may surprise you. Here are those reasons and much more on the mailbag. But so what they were talking about too is what was that thing that Aaron Rodgers took? Somebody asked, has RVD ever tried ayahuasca though? That's that. Have you ever heard of that? That ayahuasca, it's like a mix that they do in like South America or something like that. And it's something that that Aaron Rodgers was taking or something. So
I've never done it. I think maybe I've heard of it, like when people ask that very question, have you ever done blank? Sometimes you hear shit you don't know about, and sometimes you hear it more than once. I think that was one of those where I heard about it a few times, but I have no idea.
I got no clue. It's something he took apparently, but no, he's a pretty unique personality, so I can definitely see the comparisons. I'll be interested to hear how they make that comparison. So, but cool. So yeah, what was my plan was we were gonna touch upon Tommy Dreamer, but I think I might table that because we got a lot of Ask RVD this week, and then hey, we're gonna finally go along and watch the stretcher match between you and Sabu. So that's going to be
one way to force me to watch wrestling. Oh, hey, there was one comment about last week's show that one of the people said, and they said, dude, when 60% of his answers are, I don't remember, you got to get some better questions. Because did you see that one?
I didn't see that one, but
that was when you were going through year by year, and in 1998 in February 16th, do you remember the tag match you and had against the Eliminators?
What was your reaction at that moment? Do you know?
Cool. Whatever, dude.
Oh, I guess I better get to it though. Have you watched any wrestling this week?
Ooh. No. Only a couple of little Twitter whatever you call them.
Yeah.
Little one move things or something. Yeah.
And I guess too, before we get to it, last week we talked about backstage conflict and stuff like that. Obviously, since that happened, CM Punk got fired from AEW. He's out of there. And moving on. I think at that point too, it's like both sides of the stories are coming out. You don't know what to take, what's legitimate or anything like that. But it's just personality like CM Punk. It's kind of like you hear mixed things about him, and so you hear like he's got the locker room leadership attitude, but then you also hear how polarizing it can be. So it's just like when you move on from that, how does a big company, when you lose a big star, if you look at maybe what you did with ECW when you moved on and stuff like that, how do you think is a good way for AEW to kind of react to all that stuff in the roundabout of losing such a big name like that?
Regain balance.
Mm-hmm.
Regain balance. If you lost a heavyweight and the ship's rocking, too far in one direction, just put some focus on some other guys. WWE's always been criticized for being like a one guy company. You know what I mean? And it was Cena, The Rock, Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, but it really wasn't, but I think I'm like that too, especially socially. I'm more of a put all my eggs in one basket kind of guy when it comes to people that are real close to me, and then if it fails, then it hurts. But hey, so does getting your head cut off, and it's better than that. And so I think that it's not like a one star. It's not a one man show. It's not a one lead singer band that no one else matters, you know. But I mean, his fans, I'm sure, will be upset. And he's got a lot of fans. I don't know if his fans are so loyal that they won't support the thing without him. Do they just come when he's there? I don't know. That'd be some hardcore loyalty there. But otherwise, yeah, just, you know, regain composure. Put your fist back up. Get ready for the next blow because it's coming. It's
Oh,
only
yeah.
a matter of time.
Only a matter of time for sure. And it's like a lot of people are saying too, can't remember who made this this note, but they said what they should be doing. I think it was Eric Bischoff. He said you got to focus on the creative aspect of Collision now and just really hone in on that. And then, like, CM Punk's such a big star, you highlight some of the other stars that maybe that didn't have that opportunity at that point in time, and maybe you can kind of just call it. Might take some more time to do it, but you know, like you said, regain the balance, find the balance of it all. So.
Yeah, so that was Sunday, right? That he got fired.
He got fired. I want to say Friday. I want to say it was
Oh.
either Friday or
Oh
Saturday.
yeah, no, I think maybe Saturday. I was
It
a
was Saturday.
Starcast
It was
Saturday.
Yes,
Okay,
I remember. It was Saturday. Yep, it was Saturday.
Yeah, so I just saw him Thursday night. You know what I mean? I told you that probably, right? The Cauliflower Alley Club.
Oh no, you didn't. I know he was there,
Yeah.
and I knew you were going to be there, but I didn't hear about
Yep.
that. Yeah.
I got to edit the footage and throw it up on my YouTube. But he was getting an award and was giving a speech. Then he came down and talked to me, and he was in a really good mood and good vibes. You know, really seemed like really happy and in the moment. It sounded like he was having a good time. Sitting over there at the other table by Mickey James, and there's a bunch of wrestlers in this Cauliflower Alley Club, as there always are. But and it's one of those things where it's cool to run into everybody, but you're sitting down having a $150 steak or something, and it's one of those deals. And I usually go to it every year, and it's for a good cause. And so you know, I felt a little closer to the news when I just heard that on Sunday because it was like. You know, it was like last night, right? Oh, the night before? It was just a few hours ago. And anyway, you know, he'll be all right. But
Oh yeah, he'll be fine.
yeah,
It's
be interesting to see where he ends up.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, the landscape is kind of open. It'll be interesting to see if WWE has an interest in him, or if he'll go to like a smaller promotion too, and kind of, you know, almost hit the reset button. But it's cool to hear he's in good spirits too. It's like maybe in certain ways, like maybe it's an escapism for him, like a load off his shoulders. And
Maybe something other than wrestling. You know, he does a pretty good job on heels. You know, playing that redneck.
Yeah, Ricky Rabies, I think his name is.
Okay, yeah.
Ricky
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But you know, best wishes to him and everybody.
Yeah, I like it, Rob. Okay, so let's like I said, we got some good Ask RVDs this week, and let's hammer through some, and then we'll watch the match. We'll watch the stretcher match go on here. So, summer's almost over, Rob. So we have a question about summer. Clarence Alexander Pryor asks, "What do you love when it comes to the summer? Is there anything that stands out to you that you really like about the summertime? Is that your favorite season?"
It is. It is. Even though it gets, you know, close to 120 for a while here in Vegas, and that's pretty extreme. But there's a lot of really nice days too, it mixed in there. And I guess my favorite part is the sun. You know, I've always been a sun worshiper. If I'm gonna go out in my backyard just to grab something, I'll take my shirt off, and I always say, okay, I'm gonna get my 30 seconds of sun, and it adds up. You know, like some people got to go to the beach and get all oiled up and be there for 3 hours in order for them to feel like they connected with the sun. For me, you know, it might be working outside for a while, or it might just be standing out there. Could be stretching. Could just be whatever. You know, I could be in my own world, just looking up and feeling the rays. And for me, I miss that so much in the winter when it's cold. I hate waking up and I'm like, oh, it's cold again. And then I feel like this can't be good for my body because I'm flexing up and my bones are probably, you know, cold. And I hate the cold. So
How cold does it get in Vegas? Like
it gets very cold.
Yeah.
Below freezing, yeah, and it's a
Oh,
different
shit.
kind of bitter cold in the desert too. It's like it feels more like almost like there's as dry as it is. It feels like somehow the coldness like works its way in through your body somehow and hurts it on the inside. At least that's how I feel.
Holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's one reason I didn't move to Chicago. I was going to move to Chicago initially instead of Philadelphia, but I was like, I don't want to deal with that. All the wind cutting through and the lake effect, you almost get there. It's like, holy
Yeah,
shit.
and the snow. Oh my God, I'm fine if I never see snow again
Me
after
too.
growing up in it. Yeah,
I got to get the fuck out of Pittsburgh. All right.
you're in it.
Next question. Matt Guy asks, what does RVD think in regards to collective consciousness, and has he read any books that he would recommend on it? Also, is there any plans to come to the UK soon, God willing?
I don't have any plans right now. Anything booked in the UK to share. And when it comes to collective consciousness, I mean it's a real thing. It's another perspective of synchronicity, and I've been studying it for a long time, and it's like we're all connected through this like web of energy. And the way I try to explain it is, if you look under something look at something solid, say a fucking shoe, right? But you look under a microscope, it doesn't look so solid. It's a whole bunch of moving particles, and it's no longer that solid object you thought it was. And when you think about it, that's what I am, and that's what you are.
Mm-hmm.
Is you're a bunch of moving particles that like stick together in a field of magnetism that collectively make you appear separate from the air in between us. But all the air is also moving particles, and it's a different consistency. And the thing is, everything is one big swimming pool of energy, and we're all connected at the exact same time to some extent. Some people are more sensitive to it than others, but that's why like sometimes you'll be thinking about somebody that's like the other side of the country or the other side of the world, and right when you think about them, they call and you just laugh it off. I was just thinking about you. But in reality, that's because they felt that vibration, like you're connected through that. And there's people that can really, on a deep level, use this to their advantage to manifest a better life, and it's like living in the magic of life, feeling like you're able to communicate on a different level with the universe. And as far as books that go, I think the Celestine Prophecy, I mentioned that before.
Yep.
I think that introduced the universal consciousness to me, collective, energy. And it's the only one that comes to mind where I can think of. I don't know if I've done any further research. Like you mentioned last week, you mentioned Carl Jung, and then when I left, my Instagram booms trying to sell me a Carl Jung book or something. And, that's that same thing. And I used to document every time all day and look at it, see what I could learn about me and my path. And that got to, where it's hard. It's like taking vitamins for some people or working out every day. It gets to where it's difficult to keep up with unless you have good writing habits. But I respect it and acknowledge it all day long and point it out. And there's always every day there's some just like mind blowing. Like what are the odds of that happening? There's like at least 2 that happened today, but I can't think of what they were to share with you right now.
Yeah. Can you take that?
No.
Okay, you're good. Cool. No, I'm with you though. It's like I think that's such a neat aspect that happens, and it's like you do have that connection and feel it, and it only happens maybe like once or twice a day sometimes if you're lucky, and it's kind of a cool feeling. I like it, Rob.
Yeah, I think that the more you're open to it, the more it happens. Just like, say, if you're a bird watcher, you go around look at all the birds that you'll see in a day. You'll see so many birds than someone that's not a bird watcher that doesn't even notice. Oh yeah, you're right. Oh yeah, I didn't even see that up there. Like, huh? I'll be damned. It's because of awareness. The more you put into awareness, the stronger your awareness becomes. So there you go. And I personally think that every time synchronicities happen on different levels too. Some are just mind blowing, and then other ones are like, well, I guess, I'm just trying to grab one out of the air. A few days ago, Katie was on the news. She was roller derbying.
Oh, I saw a clip, I think. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. She came home from that all excited because they filmed her, and she was talking about it. When she turned the TV on, boom, it went right to her. And it's not just, wow, what are the odds that they would happen to be running that clip? But what are the odds that she would happen to be on the correct channel? And, and turn the power on right then, as opposed to kicking her shoes off first and then doing it, which would have messed up the timing. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I think that things like that, I think the more, at least from my experience, I was able to peel back layers the more I studied one and related one to another. And so it wasn't like it was just 2 a day for me. I felt very much like, even if I only noticed 2 in a day, I felt very much like that was like I was just getting the outer layer of understanding for it. And the more I studied it, I looked at it backwards, to see which came first, the chicken or the egg. Did I manifest this, or did I know this was going to happen? It was already going to happen. And man, it's some pretty deep stuff.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm excited because you got me kind of like in the mode of thinking about that more. And so now I'm going to do more research about it, because I bought like those Carl Jung books, but I can't read them. Like, so hard to read. So I've got to figure out a good way to kind of like assimilate myself with it all.
And the thing with the Celestine Prophecy is it's a fictional book, but it's based on real life elements of spiritual ascension for those of us who are, inclined to appreciate that. And it talks about, seeing everything as energy. It talks about the, as he said, the collective consciousness. It talks about bettering yourself, about when your energy is picked up and you feel loved and just good, high off life. You feel better. You are better. You think clearer. You see clearer and better, and you're a better you because of that. And all this is in that book. If you can get through the fictional story that's happening, as this person is going to Mount Peru, Mount Pikachu, whatever the fuck that is, and Pikachu, whatever it is. Pikachu. And anyway, if you can get through the story, chapter 1's really hard to get through, but if you can get through it, and he starts going through the first 9 insights that he finds to this manuscript that's banned by society for reasons of Christianity, and in the end, you learn that it's not different, it's one and the same, and it all fits together. And it's just for most people that I know, I think everybody that I know that's read the book, it's changed their lives, their perspective.
Wow. Oh man.
But it's so good that they made the nonfiction version, the Celestine Vision. They made a sequel for Insights number 10, also I think 11 and 12. And so there's been like lots of follow-up books. This guy, James Redfield, made this, even though the first one is a fictional story. So, you got to follow this guy on an airplane, which he happened to end up with a ticket, happens to be sitting by someone that he knows, happens to. And that's something too, is that's one of the insights. Everybody has a message for you. So,
yeah,
be open for that, pay attention to that, and get your awareness up, and see if you can translate that. Like, what did I learn from that encounter? Why did that happen? This guy reminds me of my teacher. There's a reason for that, and he's got a message for you. Maybe talk to him. Maybe he'll say, hey, your gas flap's open. I got it. I got the deeper message.
Yes.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna add it to my list then. I'm gonna order on Amazon. So, okay. Let's see here. Let's see. Rob, Bobby Duncan asks, "What was your reaction when Hogan turned heel at Bash at the Beach, 1996?" Yeah, I mean, you grew up a Hogan fan and like all that kind of stuff. What was your thoughts when he finally dropped the big leg on the Macho Man and joined the NWO?
I don't really remember how I felt. I mean, I thought it was pretty huge because he's like the ultimate baby face.
Yeah.
He is the top guy that could in the industry that could possibly do that, as far as I could see. So I knew it was really big. I don't remember really if I liked it or not.
Yeah. Okay. No, because I was kind of thinking about it too. Is like he played a heel like in early WAF days, like way back when, and then I think in the AWA too he was one. But like to go that level, you got so accustomed to him at that point with Hulkamania and the red and yellow, and just like boom, it did shake things up for sure. So, yeah. All right. Let's see what the other one we got here. This is a pretty interesting one. Matt Godfrey, 87, asks, if you could main event WrestleMania with someone from ECW, who would it be? So if you had to choose somebody that, say in their prime, in their ECW
Supernova.
prime. Oh, no way.
And Roadkill.
Danny
Doring, Chris Cherry.
Oh, there you go.
All the unexpected, the most unexpected answers.
Have a fatal four-way.
I would wrestle Sabu.
Yeah, that's a good one. Can't top that one. Would you have a stipulation to it, or would you do a straight-up match, do you think? Or like just an ECW one? ECW style.
Was it main event WrestleMania?
Main event. Yeah, main event.
Maybe I would do RVD's first barbed wire match.
No way.
I wonder if the match would be as good because I can't bounce off the ropes, and that takes away a lot of my shit. So I would have to consider that as well,
Yeah. Would you kind of like that kind of challenge though, being like, okay, how am I going to adjust myself, and what am I going to do?
Not necessarily, but I mean, if it's good business, it's good business,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. Now, you might have answered this one before, but I can't remember if you did or not. So several letters up there as a response. I've always wondered, why did you pick the frog splash to be your finisher? Now, you had it set up, I know in the earlier days, where it would be just part of your moveset. And then, you wouldn't even sometimes get the pinfall off of it. So how did you kind of decide on the frog splash?
So a wrestling promoter from Tampa, Florida, named Ron Slinker, he discovered me. I got to get the other end of the quote so you don't quote the rest of my paragraph. In USWA, he was there working a little bit with Bill Dundee, but mostly there to have his eyes on his son-in-law, Dennis Knight / Tex Schlesinger.
Yeah.
Midian. Yeah, thank you. And so he was there for that, but he saw me and he said, kid, you're going to be world champion someday, blah, blah, blah. He brought me down to Florida. He gave me the name Rob Van Dam. He got me the job in WCW with Bill Watts. Bill Watts said, no, I don't want to use Van Dam. Come up with something else. Ron Slinker came up with Robbie V. And it must have been either during the WCW run or maybe shortly after. I don't know. Not exactly sure on the timing of this, but I was using a split-legged moonsault as my finishing move. And Slinker said, it's a pretty move, but it's soft. And, most of the guys you're wrestling are a lot bigger than you. You need to come up with a finishing move that's more impactful. I was like, damn, really? But I'm doing the splits and doing the moonsault. It's cool, man. It's cool. And he's like, something more impactful. And I thought about it, and I thought, well, what what could be more impactful than me jumping off as high as I can possibly get and just pouncing on my opponent with all my body weight and all that momentum. And I like to fly anyway, so I'll just work on, jumping higher. And that's how I came up with the using the frog splash as my finishing move. I used to arch and do a pretty arch in the air and then like fall down at the last second to try to catch myself as much as I could. And I broke my wrist in a match with Stevie Richards in '96. And after that, instead of doing the pretty arch back, I started like doing like I do now, where I kind of crunch in at the hips a little more to peak at the top and then come down from there with all of my impact, which, by the way, I can probably hit somebody even harder now that I've come up with the Van Terminator. That arguably has even more impact.
Oh, yeah. No doubt. Now, obviously Eddie had his frog splash. Did you guys get territorial about it, or were you just like, hey, we got our own style of it, no big deal?
Yeah, it was never an issue. And when we tagged, we had fun with it, doing it off opposite corners or jumping across to, each other's closer opponents. And it was, just part of the true life story. So that's the best.
Yeah. And your guys both were so different too. You could tell from the style and the execution of it all. They were their own unique way of doing it. So, cool. Then, okay, this one, he gave feedback, but I kind of wanted to get his question part of this. This was Spicoli 420. He said, at the end, who did you ride with the most in WWE besides Sabu? Was there somebody else that you rode with a lot while you were there?
Mike Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sean Stasiak. I rode with him for a long time. And Booker T.
Yeah.
That completes my list. I think
good...
so. I'm pretty sure those are like regular, like as we would say, road wives of mine.
Did any have them wild quirks riding with them, or any pet peeves or anything like that you can think of?
Mike Awesome was a germaphobe, and I really got a kick out of that. I'm germ conscious, you know what I mean? But he taught me to even take it to another level with his awareness. But what was so funny was like we would always laugh, and we still do, at the fact like when we go and sit down to eat, we can't get up and just go wash our hands and come back and then just chill until our food comes. We got to time it because people are going to come over and want to shake our hands and stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
And so, if you go too early, you're going to find yourself going back to the bathroom several times. And so that was always funny. And so Mike had this system. And like whenever we would be at a restaurant, we would sit down. He would he would look around and say, okay, if anybody's going to come to us, I hope they come right now. And then he'd wait till his food gets to him, because before he's going to wash his hands, he wants to handle everything. So he's going to grab the ketchup bottle and he's going to use that first while his hands are still dirty. And then he's going to use the pepper, the salt, whatever the condiments are. He's going to touch all of that first and get everything ready. And then he'd look both ways, Then he'd say, I'll be right back. Then he would go and he'd wash his hands. He would come back, and when he would sit down, someone would come up and say, oh, my God, RVD, Mike Awesome. Hey, I'm big fans of you. And put out their hand. I'd be like, I'd be laughing so hard. I was crying. I'd be like, oh, God damn it. And he'd be like frustrated, like didn't see the humor in it at the moment because it really meant a lot to him. He really wanted you got to pick up a hamburger or something. And, this dude was just pumping his gas, touching the nozzle and fucking riding down the road with his hand on his balls in his pants before that. Ooh, come on, dude. We're at a table.
Yeah. I'm eating here. Jeez. All right. This is a funny one. Bitch Adams. Some effing 90s guy. You're trapped in a room for 24 hours listening to Bill Alfonso blow his whistle or somebody lecture you on marijuana use. Which do you pick? So a lot of Bill Alfonso whistling or somebody lecturing you.
I never was bothered by Fonzie's whistle, but 24 hours of it in a room would be a lot to take. I think I'd go with the marijuana lecturing because, as an advocate and someone who prides myself on having a pretty extensive education on the subject, I like to listen to both sides of the argument, So I like to find out what kind of propaganda is still being pumped out there as information when it's not credible. And I like to hear any updates that anybody has. It's funny that someone last year was like, they have a case now. Somebody actually did smoke themselves to death. So now it is possible. Like, really? So in the history of the planet, there's one person. So now what changed?
Right.
What changed? I mean, whatever that person's genetic makeup, not that it was real anyway, but anyway, I choose the latter.
The latter, yeah, and it's like, and your shit, so you're able to have any good counter arguments. Yeah, taking that whistle. I mean, yeah, when he's doing it during a match, it might be a little different, but 24 hours in a room might be tough.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Rob. Well, it's time. I've been putting this one off for a little bit since we've had so much other stuff to talk about, time constraints and stuff like that. But we'll pop up this match. It's the stretcher match. Took place. I have it in the notes here in 1996, August 3rd of 1996 in the ECW arena, and you versus Sabu. YouTube Chris, I think, says this is your guys' rubber match. At this point, too, how were you assimilating in ECW at this point? Were you kind of like sticking close to Sabu and kind of still feeling your oats kind of thing, or was it more so you're getting along with everybody and kind of seeing where this promotion is going for you?
I was loving working this program with Sabu. I was loving where it was going, and I loved the idea of the stretcher match because I had never heard of that before, where you have to be carried on the stretcher all the way back through the curtains in order to lose the match. And I just thought, wow, we can probably be really creative and have a lot of really cool things happen in this match. So I was really getting into the ECW. I was still new, but I was getting solid reaction from the crowd, to say the least. And I was enjoying my position that I was earning, the attention that I was getting, looking forward to this match. What I remember mostly about it is Sabu doing a moonsault out of the ring off the second rope onto me on the stretcher, and his shins just nailing the guardrail, just crack. It was like someone hit the guardrail with 2 baseball bats.
Joey Styles even makes mention of it too when that happens.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Brutal.
Before I start running this though, Tony Khan was at this event apparently. He
He's told me that.
Yep. And you know what? I think I found him in the crowd.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Let's see that, because he told me personally that he thinks that night I became a star.
Yeah. So okay, it's obviously blurry and pixelated, but I'm thinking this is him in the orange shirt right there. If you see him.
How would you know? How would you know, dude?
How would you know? I'm only gathering because the man sitting beside him has a mustache. His dad, Shad Khan, has a mustache, and he looks disinterested. And I remember him saying that his dad was not a wrestling fan, but he took him there just out of the kindness of his heart. So I think maybe that's Tony Khan. Can't tell, can't be positive, but maybe it is. Who knows?
And by the way, the odds that I would also be wearing an orange shirt right now when you point that out, that's one of those lower level synchronicities.
How about that? See?
It's not blowing anyone's minds, but still, if you did a random statistics check, and find out how rare an orange shirt is and what are the odds that we would both have it and you would point that out.
No way, that's true. That's true. Is your shirt plain? Is it a plain shirt? You got a plain orange shirt? Yeah, plain pink right here. That's what I'm wearing. So, jeez.
I cleared this with Taz. Don't cause no
you
problem.
Cleared with Taz? All right. I didn't clear this with Bret Hart, so I might be fucked. So. Cool. So, all right. We can just fire it up.
Boom.
Let me make sure I got the right screen on. I do.
PP. You come up here? By the way, Dom, you know, I may have worn. Oh, Sabu's got orange pants.
Oh man.
And I was just gonna say, I may have coincidentally, if you want to call it that, wore this orange shirt because of the stretcher match. I remember the stretchers being orange.
Yeah, I think they are. I think you're right.
Maybe that's why I'm wearing orange, and because of Tony Khan wearing orange.
How about that? That's true. Yeah. And then, hey, I changed the background too. It's your tiger stripe singlet.
Yeah, no, I noticed that, and that's orange too. But I did notice that. That looks cool.
Yeah.
Everybody's favorite outfit.
No doubt about it, man. Now, why did you? I kind of like the gi. Why did you get rid of the gi?
Because to you, hopefully, depending on if you're being sarcastic or not.
No, I do. I liked it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it looks like a karate gi, but in Japan, it's like a bathrobe.
Oh, okay.
It's like something they wear around the house, and so it's kind of like funny to them that I would wear that out to the ring and act like it's like it's a karate gi.
Yeah.
And I thought it looked really cool like that, and then like Sabu would laugh at me and say, "No, they're not gonna respect that because it's a house robe."
Oh, okay. Like
kimono.
Okay, so more of a kimono, yeah, more of a kimono.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I get you.
But I think Giant Baba kind of wore one, or maybe his was a robe. I don't know. It wasn't a karate gi though. His wasn't.
This was neat because I immediately, like, he was going for like a double leg takedown and stuff like that, and immediately sparked in my head like, oh, Sabu was an amateur wrestler. So like,
yeah,
there's that.
Oh, how do you like it? Mine hurt worse. Mine hurt worse because I drop kicked him in the leg with toilet paper coming out of my boot. I had a foreign object.
You did. Look at that.
Yep. That hurts way worse.
Much worse. You guys fucking lay it in right here, it looks like.
Always. Oh. Hit him with the toilet paper. I did, see?
There you go.
Yep.
Now, how was John Finnegan as a referee? Did you like him?
Yeah, I did. You know, I was so green here. Like, looking back, if this is 96, I've only been working like 6 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
6.5, 7 maybe, but it's like, that's like not much time at all. It's funny to watch it, and to the fans, it's like, you know, that's just a international superstar. You know, I'm wrestling in Japan, I've wrestled in WCW and whatever, but it's weird at this point in age to look back at me like that, you know, when I was 25 years old.
Right, but to your point though, it's like you were already you were like, at this point you wrestled down in Georgia, you wrestled like WCW, you were in Japan, so it's like you've already kind of cultivated a pretty good resume of experience at this juncture where it comes to like learning all these different types of styles and how it works. And,
I did this interview earlier, like I said, for Battle Creek, and they asked me, dude said, he said, you started in WCW, right? And I said, well, no, I did a lot of work before WCW. That was my first really big company that I'd been to, but even just with TVs, my first TV would have been USWA in 90. And I think it was 91 though. Why do I think it was 90? It had to be 91. It had to be 91. Weird. Usually remember this stuff.
You were
damn weed with CTE. So anyway, I was on USWA, and what must have been 91. That was my first TV, and then South Atlantic Pro Wrestling out of Charlotte. My first championship belt was a tag belt there when I'm in front of the Piggly Wiggly with the mullet. If you've seen that picture.
Yeah.
That was my first tag team belt, South Atlantic Pro Wrestling. Then I went down to Florida, and I wrestled for Eddie Mansfield at Universal Studios, IWF. That was my next TV. So I had that all before I went to WCW in December of '92, and then that was, my first like big company contract that I never turned in.
Yeah. But you were saying too that you were making more in the indies at that time than you were making with WCW, being under contract with WCW, right?
Correct.
Yeah, yeah. Now, in this match too, and I'm sure this was always kind of the case at the ECW arena, such a tight spot in between the guardrails and the ring. Did you kind of like that aspect of it? That you could do a little bit more athletic kind of things, or was there just pros and cons to both of that, having that guardrail so close to the ring like that?
Pros and cons to both. A lot of times it was too close.
Mm-hmm.
And then that could be an issue when you don't have room to work outside the ring at all. Then other times it's too far away. You know, when I was on AEW recently, by the way, if you compare how far away their guardrail was to this one, look, there's a fucking what is that? Is that a 8-foot table, 7-foot table, and it already goes across and has room on both sides? There's not much space there.
Not at all. And you'll see in a little bit too that you do make a good adjustment.
Might be a 6-foot table even, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
And in AEW, it was like people were like, I don't know, if that might be too far to do. I'm like, dude, I got this.
You fucking nailed it too. You nailed him.
Big difference from ring to ring, stuff like that. The hell is he doing?
Oh, got him on the rope.
No. Oh. Sure, that was stiff as fuck. Dude, sell something, would you?
Come on, Sabu. What the heck?
We didn't used to sell shit back then. That's one thing when I look back at it that I didn't know at the time, but it was like, he didn't want to go to the floor. He wanted to be there.
You wanted to just be there, okay. There's some moments though where Sabu, and I mean he makes it look real, so maybe some of it is real. Like I can't tell.
Dude, we used to beat the shit out of each other, so everyone knew we were hitting each other for real.
Right.
That was, that's the way we got trained, and me and Sabu were always like that. So working with each other, we were going to be able to be like that even more. And with these, you know what? I'll be damned. I thought that fucking gurney was orange. In my mind, I remember the stretchers being orange, and that blew my mind. Maybe it's just because of Sabu's pants, but obviously I was wrong. I don't know. Let's see if they're both like that.
I think there's a second one. Yeah, there is a second one. So maybe you might be right.
And it might be orange.
Yeah, it might be orange.
The one where he nails his shins on the guardrail. I remember that being orange. I don't know if it was or not.
Yeah.
How silly. Oh, he got off himself.
Now, were these shoot EMTs or were they just people that helped?
No, they were. Yeah, they were. They were, but they were regular. Like they weren't just like called for this match.
Yeah.
They were hired to be there like every TV show.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the live events as well, but every TV they would be there. And man, Sabu would give them shit. Is it like he would treat them like they're the boys, but they're not. They're real EMTs. Like they'd like be wanting to look at him after a match. Sometimes wanting to stitch him up. Do you see that move I just did, by the way?
Yeah, the fall away powerbomb there.
Yeah. I quit doing that because it kills everybody. But that's a move I've always loved doing. It's like I pick him up kind of like a powerbomb, but I step to the side and then I float him down, and I've done that in actual situations. So it's one that I'd like to do in the match, but I got tired of everyone saying, "Oh," so I gave it up.
See, I would think too, just as a visual standpoint, that doesn't look as bad as like a regular powerbomb. Like,
right? Yeah, I think I agree with you. Or the fucking or that fucking Patriot, Bill Wilkes, Bob Holly, Jackhammer,
Alabama Jam or Alabama Slam. Yeah.
No, you're right. I think you're right about that. No, that's a good point. I'm bringing it back.
Bring it back. It's coming to Battle Creek.
Brian Cage, you're gonna get the fucking step to
You're
the
gonna
side,
get the fucking
step out power bomb.
Yeah.
Probably someone's probably already doing it by now, but I don't
I
know.
haven't seen it.
All right. Well, there's something.
Bring it back. What's old is new again. Oh,
Oh,
damn. Oh, what do you got going here?
give me that chair.
Now, do you remember around when you started coming up with the Van Daminator and stuff like that?
Yep.
When was that exactly?
That was before my first ECW match.
No shit. Oh, no shit. So it was. Oh, wow. I didn't even know that. Okay.
Yeah, like when I was coming to wrestle for ECW, I'd seen him on TV, and whoa. Oh, I think I might have seen an orange fucking gurney to the right.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
I am validated. Thank you.
Now, this is a wild spot right here.
Yeah. Pretty far out there, dude. Can he make it?
Oh, that gurney looks orange, Rob.
Yep, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. So you've seen somebody do Van Daminator before you?
No, but I'd seen the TV and I was intimidated by the style, all adult crowd watching, waiting for you to slip or mess up so they can make fun of you,
Yeah.
and
what you're about to do right here.
their chants and dude, you fucked up.
It happens. They start chanting.
Dude, yeah, that might have been the last time I heard that. It was humiliating. Like I'm already killing myself.
Yeah, right.
Inside, like already, like and then on top of that, they let you have it. But so anyway, I was intimidated going in because I was in Georgia, and the kind of shit that worked in Georgia wasn't going to work up there. You know what I mean?
Right.
I couldn't be like USA. You know what I mean?
That's wrestling down here.
Yeah. Come on, everybody, come on with me. Like that kind of shit wasn't going to work, and I thought I need to come up with some fucking cool moves that'll get me over there. And I had a pen and paper, and I was like, maybe I'll throw the chair up and then do a jumping, spinning back kick into their face. And I just wrote it down. It was just one of several, just like I stand on the top rope and hold the chair and then dive off and do a helo onto the chair, onto the person. And I wrote that down. I didn't know one from the next necessarily that it was going to be that much better, and then it was going to be winning me championship gold, for the rest of my career. But that's how I came up with it, dude.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so you're getting carried out here.
Maybe I can lucky flip him out of chair. Wrote that down.
Oh, so much different innovative stuff that you used to do. And even when I'm watching these other ones, I'm like, oh, I've seen a variation of that, but something.
Yeah, and that's what ECW was about, was always outdoing ourselves, like every time, and adding another level to make it even more extreme. And when I learned that about ECW, I really got in sync with it, because that's what I was doing, was always trying to outdo and one up my own self.
Yeah.
And I saw Paul was doing that with the damn TV shows, like I was like, there's no way they're going to be able to top that next time. And they do something, lights out, lights on. There's someone they never expected to be in the building, and the crowd will go nuts. I'd be like, man, he did it. I can't believe he outdid what we did last time. And then I got right in sync with that and said, all right, helo over the rope. All right, next time I'm going to put a chair there and go and clear the chair and the rope. All right, next time I'm going to put 2 chairs there, clear both chairs and the rope. And that's just, that was what it was about for me during that time of my career.
Wow. Now, was there anybody else that would really try to reinvent that you were like really noticing that they're like, holy shit, that person's like always trying to do different shit and everything. Besides Sabu, obviously does a lot of different stuff. But was there
Sabu did, and somehow overall, like I said, Paul seemed like he was doing that with the actual show,
with the show itself? Yeah.
Yeah, so it seemed like that theme carried out, and different people did it in different ways, like Raven, Sandman, whatever. They might do it by shocking everybody, you know what I mean? Like the crucifix or whatever, just shit that would be like, oh my God, I thought they crossed the line last time, but man, they just jumped over the line this time. And it was just overall, I can't remember specifically about people doing it with their moves.
Was that it, Rob?
Yep. You see it? Cracked his
Put it back here in just a couple of seconds.
They need to put him on the stretcher after that.
Right? Here it is.
Well, maybe he rolled. Maybe he spun enough to where it hit the back of his leg.
Yeah, I think he at least maybe caught one of them. Ooh.
Yeah, it didn't look fun.
Nope.
Oh, we're both on stretchers now.
It's got a race. It's a race. Who's coming in last? That's what you need.
That poor blonde lady. I started talking about. He would just abuse him like backstage. Like he'd come back there like with a big gash bleeding, and he'd be sitting there, and like she'd come over, and he'd try to just look at him or something. Like, get away from me, like get away from me, I'm fine. And he'd like turn into the Sheik.
Yeah.
And they took so much abuse because he didn't want to get stitched.
Was there a lot of that too? Like a lot of like that proven mentality of like, hey, I don't need medical help or anything like that. He's just like, I'm toughing it through. Or is there kind of a lot of that mentality backstage?
Sabu's crew, for sure.
Crew? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It might have just been our clique. Now that I think about it, I don't really know. I could imagine someone like Candido would probably take stitches, maybe. Lance. I mean, a lot of the guys. I remember in TNA, by the way, when I wrestled Brian Cage and I busted his lip open, and we were having this conversation backstage afterwards. Me and Dreamer were telling him not to bother getting it stitched up. And I was telling him, just super glue it. I would totally just super glue it if it was me. They kept going back and forth because the medics were like, they were agreeing, like, yeah, basically what we use is like super glue. And they were saying, but we're professionals, and if we stitch it up, boom, boom, boom. And he goes, what should we do? Well, if you're asking me what you should do, give me some super glue, I'll fix you right up. And anyway, he ended up getting stitched up, and a lot of people would choose that because that's recommended. That's probably is safer, healthier, more sanitary. But man, last time I got busted open really good. You squeeze it together so that it's almost overlapping. You squeeze it extra so that there's no openness.
There's nothing, yeah.
Or no glue gets in there. You put super glue on and you hold it for a little bit and you let go and you're good to go, and the scars go away. So Sabu taught me that early on. And these medics a lot of times would argue with him. But he would have some serious gashes sometimes, and they just wanted to pour peroxide on it or something, and he would be like chasing them away.
Get out of here.
In full Sheik character. Yeah.
Now, would Mike Awesome, he would take stitches, wouldn't he? Because being a germaphobe and stuff like that.
I don't remember it ever happening, so I don't know. Probably so, though.
Yeah,
you said, probably so. I think maybe it was just Sabu and me, and I don't know. Like, we would have made fun of Louis if he would have got stitches. Bobby Duncan Jr. probably would have went, I'm from Texas. I don't need that. Yeah, it's hard to speak for other people, Taz or the Eliminators or Dreamer. I guess it would depend on circumstances, but Dreamer was on my side telling Cage, I think, that he didn't need stitches. That's the way I remember it anyway. Yeah.
A little Franken Center action there.
Nobody takes that move at the right time anymore, by the way. Like everyone, the person on top, and on the mat, not necessarily on the top rope, second rope, whatever, but every time when someone does it, oh no, it's the head scissors actually, and everyone does that side slam into the twirly head scissors. He's like, for a
Oh
while,
yeah.
you had to see 2 of those every single match, but they always fall first, and then the person goes.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. It's like, it's a little delayed now and stuff, it seems.
Weird. I let it pull me over.
This was a good spot here, Rob. This is what I was talking about too, where you had to kind of make the adjustment for this, the confines of the guardrail, so to speak. Like you catch him.
Oh shit! Oh,
boom! That was good. That was like a hell of an adjustment right there.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I was using that Fisherman Buster for a finish there for a little while, and it wasn't a good idea.
Yeah. What?
I think Sabu. I think maybe Sabu gave it to me because I don't remember why. I think he thought I needed a devastating finish, and I remember I gave it to him in the ring and knocked him out. Boom. It's in one of these matches. Maybe it's the respect match, I think.
Oh, okay.
It's the respect match where I beat him and he has to shake my hand because he's knocked out and he's stiff as a board. When I'm trying to pin him, I couldn't hook his leg. His leg was stiff and straight out. He zombied on me. And after he went back to the dressing room, Paul told him, "You have to shake his hand." He's like, "What?" And he said, "Van Dam beat you. You have to go out there and shake his hand. It's a stipulation of the match." He goes, "No, I don't. He didn't beat me. Bullshit." And I also remember doing that move to Hack Myers, and it seems like I might have hurt him too.
He was a name I saw when I was researching here a little bit.
I remember doing it to him, not for sure if I hurt him or if he was just scared of it. I can't remember, but I remember either way, bad energy with doing it. So
yeah.
I probably only did it those 3 times. The one through the table might have been the best, the least.
Well, I think he gives you one here. He gives you a Fisherman Buster here coming up.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, he's still
better not
from you.
He better not.
Oh, shit.
I got him. I got you.
The rolling
Got
legs.
a counter for your springboard.
Yeah, I was reading Meltzer's news. Oh, here it is right here. You give him a Fisherman Buster. I think he either reverses this or...
Okay.
One. There it is. Boom.
Oh, you son of a bitch. You weren't joking, man.
How dare he?
Oh, no. What's he going to do with that chair?
Oh. Sabu's got some plans.
Shad Finnegan over there wondering if he left the shower on at home.
Oh, look at that!
Oh.
That was pretty sweet.
Damn.
Good
Couldn't have
timing there.
expected that.
Yep, good timing. Uh-oh, he's calling out the stretcher for you, Rob.
For me?
For you.
Shit.
Nope, Sabu's shoving him off.
But I kind of shielded myself a little bit.
Yeah, right?
I probably took the worst of that one. Oh, where am I going? Whoa!
Oh, no, right on the stretcher.
For real. Is he on it? He's on it.
Now he's on it.
He wants to be on it. He's ready to call it quits. Get him out of here. He's done.
He's over it.
Yeah. Jim Molyneux. Push or pull, bro. Which way you going?
Come on, where are we going here? He's rocking quite the mullet, too.
Oh, I know what's coming up. I remember this.
Something here, Rob.
But yeah, I feel like, okay, get going. I want to get some trying to be further. Oh. Uh-oh.
Is this
I have a feeling that's match. That's got to be it. Nobody would survive a jumping top rope helo to the stretcher to the
You're out. You're out cold, Rob.
Damn it.
Oh, no.
I'll get you next time, Sabu.
You may have won this one, Sabu.
Next
If it wasn't for
time.
those crazy kids and that stupid dog, we would have
I'll
had you.
get you next time, Gadget. Next
I did
time.
not expect a Dr. Claw cameo. There it is, Rob. That's a great match.
Yeah.
Man.
Cool.
Where does that stand out for you for your matches with Sabu?
Well, I mean, at the time, that was my favorite match. You know, I remember that. I don't know. I really liked the match that we had in TNA when he was bald, when he had that weird little face where he shaved his head.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really liked that match a lot too. You know, I don't know which one would be my fave. We had one or two after this, I think, in the series of The Matter of Respect, or maybe it was before this. I don't know, but I know we did at least one more after that. I'm wearing the same outfit. I remember doing a leg drop off the bleachers in the back. For me, it'd be like just doing a new move that I hadn't done like that before would be what it was about for me. You know, like, oh, cool. Next time I'm going to go up to the balcony and do this. And, you know, a lot of us, I think, did think like that. And that made the day better for us. Like we were crossing a new line somehow, you know, in growth. And we were growing. I mean, I think I worked him in WWE probably too, but I don't even remember. Like, I don't think I did anything memorable. I wonder.
Did you work him at all in WCW? Was he? Did you guys ever have
No.
a cross path?
No, we weren't there at the same time.
Okay.
But my favorite was the USWA when I had the short blonde hair and the blue trunks, and I was Rob Zukowski, and he was Samu.
He was Samu?
Yeah. That's what they called him on TV. They fucked up.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Was he Samu the Elephant Boy, or was he just Samu?
I think it was just Samu. I think Sheik told him Sabu the Elephant Boy. Then when Sheik wasn't around, then Sabu was like, "It's just Sabu."
Just Sabu.
Okay, we got you. We got you, Samu.
Samu, you got you down.
Yeah, that's it.
Was it always the plan for you guys to like be rivals starting off and then turn into a tag team, or was that kind of just happened organically because you guys were both so over?
I don't know.
Don't know.
Who plans?
Who play? That's right.
I don't know.
The best laid out plans are unplanned. All right, Rob, do you have a RVDology this week?
Yeah, what did we talk about last week, dude? We talked about passivism.
Yes.
Come across.
Yeah. I sometimes too. A lot of the times, especially when it comes to when it is an experience like Starcast, say for example, you see like a lot of people interacting, or you're in a moment where like even if you're at a show, like there was All Out that weekend too that took place, and you see people get under intense or pressure situations. And I was pretty cognizant of how I was reacting under those situations when it'd be like, hey, if there was a stressful situation or things were going down, it was just like and if I'm interacting with somebody, whether they have like a little bit, more swag in the business or kind of more pull or, anything to that effect, it's like, where do I kind of lay the line of like how I want to establish myself? So I was kind of thinking about in that line of terms too, over the course of the week, especially at Starcast. So yeah, I definitely took some stuff from it this week, Rob, and cool. It's always something I factor in too when it comes to aspects of like, hey, kind of, and I'm a very passive person in a lot of ways too. It really takes a lot for me to get charged up or to kind of be like, all right, this is where I'm drawing the line. But I kind of do know my threshold, and sometimes I think I'm a little too patient with some of that stuff too. But always something to work on. Always.
That's the thing too, is where do you draw the line? Because a lot of times I think afterwards too, like, man, I should have stood up for myself there. I shouldn't let that person talk to me like that,
Right.
But then in the end it's like, you know what, who cares, just whatever. But that's on them, you know what I mean? Something's wrong with them, not you. Just go about your day and don't pay them no attention, and sometimes that's better.
Right. And you were saying too last week how like you put out that negative energy and you feed it more if that happens too when it comes to that kind of aspect too. And it's like
so true.
that thing with you and Scott Norton could have escalated if you handled it in a different situation, but you remained like passive. You weren't like timid. You were passive.
De-escalate.
Yeah, you de-escalated the situation, and that's how to handle it, man. So, amen to that.
So
All right.
yeah. So this should be a short one. Spark it up if you got one.
There we go.
Enlighten one up, dude. I've really been enjoying and appreciating the feedback that I've been getting from these RVDology segments, and I am going to do some more full episodes soon on my YouTube. But in the comments, I get some really good messages that go to my heart about how I've helped them in person. You know, I was at a signing last week and in Chicago, Starcast. And man, one of the dudes that was standing there talking to me, man, he really got through to me. It made me feel really valid and good about what I do. And he was like, man, he goes, you help a lot of people. You inspire people. And he said, you know, you inspire people in the ring, all these wrestlers. And now you said you inspire people with your RVDology, you know, and it's good stuff that helps us all out. And he was particularly talking about anger issues and something that I had said about controlling your anger. And I said, those who are closest to your heart can hurt you the most. And that's true, because those are the ones that you trust. And that kind of is a transition into what I want to talk about for a minute here, which is loyalty. And loyalty is a quality that I respect and is often looked upon as being maybe too much, too important. I don't know. That's why I want to talk about it right here. So loyalty, when I think about it, you know, like I just mentioned, I said earlier that I'm more of a put all my eggs in one basket kind of person when I keep people close to me. But if I think about how many people I think would be loyal to me, I'm fortunate because I'm a celebrity. There's a lot of people out there that I haven't even met, and people that I've met, touched, impacted, whatever, that would and do follow me and are loyal RVD fans. When it comes to a certain depth of loyalty where you are obligated all the way to have this person's back, that can be a good feeling when you have somebody like that. You know, Katie, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have best friends that are closer to me than my wife, you know. And of course, I know she's going to be loyal to me and vice versa. But when you think about it, when you're a kid in junior high and you tell your best friend, dude, nothing's ever going to come between us, man. You know, we're bros. I got your back. You got me. We're us against the world. Then you realize one day, well, that's kind of gay. If you're not gay, you might want to have a life partner that you may feel actually deserves that more than that promise you made way back in the day. But does that mean you're not loyal because you made a pact with them? Prospectively, if you want to look at it that way, how about when loyalty causes you to break the law? How about when a police officer does something, goes too far, breaks the law, and then the other police officers that are on the scene, they're not going to tell on him. They're going to back the blue because of that brotherhood. They're on the same side of the blue line. So then now if one person goes down, everybody goes down because now they were all accomplices to this law that was being broke. It happens all the time. Let's look at the mafia, right? You take a pact, an oath for life that you belong to the mafia first, above your family, above your children, your wife, anything. You swear if you break your oath, you die. That's a crazy commitment, but that's the way that it works. Okay, now you're part of this criminal empire. They rob, they extort, they bully, they scam, they murder. And then if it comes down to it and you get busted and you can go to jail for life, or if you give them a little information on the other guys, they're going to give you a break, right?
Right.
Anybody in that position that breaks their loyalty and then turns is looked down upon as a rat, not just by their mafia family, by the cops even, by everybody. They're like, how treacherous for him to betray his oath and turn his back. Everybody looks at him like that. Everybody. Who looks at them like they're a hero? But really, what are they doing? Reporting murderers? They're exposing crimes? They're getting criminals off the street? Isn't that a good thing? But because they betray their loyalty, even cops look at them like, what a piece of shit this guy is. That's the dichotomy of that situation. Now, I said loyalty is important to me, and it is. But also, you got to have enough judgment. How much loyalty do you owe this specific person? Do you owe them your life? Would you give your life for this person? You don't have to say yes in order to feel good about yourself. If it's just a person that is a friend, a family member, whatever, it's going to be subjective, and your loyalty is based on your values. Okay? Some people live with DTA. Don't trust anyone, right?
Right.
I can't tell you that that's a wrong way to live, but it is inconsistent with RVDology. I have to trust someone. If I get hurt, it hurts. And then you know what? I do the same thing again. I'm going to find someone else, hopefully make better decisions next time, and trust someone else, because I believe in people. I think some people are worth trusting. I think a lot of people are more loyal than other people. I can't give up on anybody. If you're someone that believes don't trust anyone, it sounds kind of lonely.
Right.
Sounds kind of lonely. I mean, I get it if you're in enemy territory and you're a spy. If you're in the jungle and all the animals are going to eat you, sure, don't trust anyone. But to go through your day and really think that that's such a great motto, you're going to get it tattooed on your fingers or whatever, that's a conflict with how I open up my heart, how I choose to live, and how I manifest my life. Let's take that same situation. If you don't have anyone that you really trust, you're probably not opening up to everyone. You're probably not really sharing all of yourself, which means no one really knows the real you.
Mm-hmm.
That seems lonely. Let's look at it the other way and flip it around. Who do you have that would really be loyal to you, that really trusts you? If you don't trust anyone, how do you expect them to trust you? What's that say about you? That also seems lonely. It's a good feeling to be trusted. Sometimes it's weird. Sometimes I feel weird when there's money around and someone walks away and I'm like, I'm not, your money's sitting right here on the table. There's certain situations, where I feel like, wow, this person really trusts me. When I'm doing productions, I do movies, TV shows, I'm always impressed with the amount of trust that people have when they rent their house out. same thing with parties. We had a big house party, someone that I don't fucking know. There's 100 people there. I'm like, hey, where's the bathroom? You go in the bathroom and they still have their toothbrushes out and stuff. I'm like, wow, that's really trusting. At the party, I think maybe irresponsible to be that trusting. With the production crew, then I feel accountable. I'm like, wow, they told me to change in this bedroom that's actively somebody's bedroom, and they trust me in here with all this. That makes me feel, like I said, accountable. So that gives me a different kind of feeling. I told this story on RVology when it comes to loyalty. I like to mention this situation that I was in with Dango one time. I was we were at the mall, Lakeview Square Mall in Battle Creek, looking for something to do. We got invited to this party in Kalamazoo. We went over to check it out, wouldn't you? And then we're at this house, and we don't know anybody there except maybe like 2-3 people that we knew from Harper Creek, a different school. And this was during my punk days. You know what I mean? We would go to parties looking for fights. We wanted girls, but we didn't know how to get the girls. So we thought maybe if we could show them that we're tough, of course the girls would want to be with us, right? It didn't work, but that's what our brains told us at 18, 19 years old, whatever. But I remember we're in this house in Kalamazoo, and I got like a wife beater tank top on, sticking my chest out, walking through, because I was a huge 180 pounds, I had to show everybody my big muscles. And I'm walking through the kitchen, and it's pretty crowded. And I clearly saw this dude get pushed into me by his buddies. But the guy, boom, stumbles into me, and he looks up at me. And instead of saying, excuse me, or I'm sorry, and feeding my ego, he just looked at me and laughed. And he was obviously drunk. And so I took that as a challenge. And I'm like, you want to step outside? He's like, I don't care. And we all went outside. We all went outside. And that's what his buddies wanted, by the way. They pushed him into me, and they set me up.
Oh.
And I fell for it. So I'm out there, and I'm surrounded by seems like 30 people in a circle, just like in Lionheart or one of these. Everyone's boom, boom. And this drunk kid, I'm just throwing him around, like every time he dives at me, I sidestep him and throw him down, boom, step back and kept throwing him down. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to fucking ground and pound him a little bit. And I threw him down. I got on top of him, and I get ready to start pounding him. Boom. His brother actually gave me a big football kick, much like I talked about Kawada giving me earlier.
Yeah.
This one I never saw coming, and this one put me out. It is one of the only 2 times that I can say I've been out. This was the most out that I've been. While I was out, everyone jumped in the circle. Boom, 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 boom. His guys are holding my arms behind my back, holding me up while they're punching me in the face. Dango jumps in, and he gets his ass beat. And he knew he was going to, because we're outnumbered, but that's what a loyal friend he was. Boom. Yeah. These other 2 dudes, Jason and was it John? Anyway, these guys from Harper Creek, we saw their reaction. They didn't do shit. Well, I was knocked out. I didn't do anything anyway, but they didn't do anything, and they were right there and watched it. Next thing I know, it went from being loud and everybody, yeah, and us being surrounded, it went to silence, and there's nobody around. And I'm looking around like, what the hell? And Dango's picking me up, and those other 2 guys are there. And I'm like, what happened? And he's like, they explained over and over. I couldn't retain the memory, which I've seen happen a lot. This is the first time it happened to me, where I kept saying, wait a second. Wait, where are we? And Dango would say, Jesus, Rob, we were at the mall. Yeah, we went to the mall. I remember that. What happened? We got invited to the party. Anyway, they had to explain it over and over. And I had a big swollen up eye, looked like the elephant man, and I was concussed. That was the first concussion that I got. And everybody had jumped in, the smoke had cleared, they were all in the house. These two guys from Harbor Creek were telling me it all happened so fast that we didn't know what was going on until it was too late. Dango was the loyal friend, and that's true loyalty. Knowing he was going to get beat up, he jumped in the melee anyway and got beat up with me. The next day, there was another party that everybody was going to be at. I can't remember why Dango couldn't be there, but I went looking for these two guys by myself, and they weren't there. But I went to the party with a big swollen up elephant man face, going, Jeff Gray, because I felt like I got suckered by that brother. I never saw the kick coming. I wanted to get him back. And I'm glad they weren't there looking back at it. You know what I mean? There was nothing good would have come out of that. And I didn't have good intentions. And who knows what would have happened. But I'm glad they weren't there the next day. Looking back, if that was my kid, I would have said, hell no, you're not going back looking for them the next day, idiot. Look what happened to you. Big busted up lip and swollen eye. But my point to that story is I'll always remember it for the loyalty that my friend Dango had, and how many people have someone that's that loyal that you can count on to go through something bad with you and know that you're going to go through it together and come out together. It's important.
Super important. Heck yeah.
That's it, dude. Ending with a question, ask yourself that, where does loyalty rank for you? Giving it, receiving it? Do you deserve it? If people are loyal to you, do you not deserve it? And is it too important?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's always, like it says, that all depends on who you're interacting with too. It's like, and how they.
It depends on your values. Let me say this: it depends on your values, which we've talked about a lot. And like if your bros think you're not being loyal to them, if you don't go watch football on Sunday and instead you want to hang out with your girlfriend, and you're like, oh man, they're saying I'm not loyal to them anymore, dude. If it hurts because I'm asking you to choose between them, you should have your own priority list and know where things, people, places, where everything falls on your priority list, at least to some extent. Be cognizant of that. It'll help you make your decisions and not feel bad about them.
Right. And sometimes you're in a situation too where your loyalty is going to be put into question, and if you make a decision, there's no right or wrong decision sometimes, but the decision you make, you might have some regret. But either way, you're going to kind of get that too. But the loyalty kind of goes both ways too, because you hope that friend or person will be loyal to you and understand where you're coming from too in certain aspects.
Yep, and you know how expectations go. So if you're loyal to somebody, maybe you expect them to be as loyal back, and then maybe sometimes they're not. But if you're doing it for the right reasons, then maybe that won't bother you, and you'll still be loyal to that person. Like if you're a parent, a kid doesn't know. A parent, I don't have kids, but I got to imagine they would crush my heart all the time.
Right? Yeah.
I'd be like, you're lying to me? Oh my, you know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine, just stuff that I don't have in my normal life. But you're hiding that from me? What is going on here? I thought we had a bond. But
I thought we were close.
Yeah.
I'm your dad.
Hopefully you remain loyal to the kid, even if the kid seems to do something that makes you feel like your loyalty was breached. That's got to happen is what I'm saying. Got to happen is what I'm saying. But yeah, priorities, dude. Have your priorities, and I give you permission to rather be with your girlfriend than your bros right off the bat. But also, ask yourself, do they deserve your loyalty? And if so, why? And that's a question you can ask about anybody if you're questioning whether you should be obligated to spend more time with them, do something more for them. You know what I mean? A friend calls up, wants me to help them move. I'm like, oh my God, does this person think I'm that good of a friend? Way better a friend than I think I am, am I so loyal I'm going to help them move? And it's like, it's okay to be aware of where that particular quality falls on your priority list of values.
Exactly. Sometimes those won't line up either, even with family members and stuff like that. So
In Battle Creek, Michigan, Kit Likens was the first guy to let me in a ring. You know, he had the ring in his backyard. He was a kickboxer. He was a promoter. And me and Dango, Robert and Eddie, we knocked on his door. Dude, we wrestle in the living room. We're going to be wrestlers when we grow up. We got to get in your ring, dude. And he was the first one to let us in the ring. He trained us to kickbox. He let us open at his kickboxing shows with wrestling matches and stuff. I'll always be loyal to him because I believe in loyalty like that. I went to other dojos when he was gone for a while, and these guys didn't like him, and they dogged him. And at that young age, I didn't have quite the stiff structure of values that I do now, and I kind of got swept into that for a while. And I've talked about that too. Maybe not on here, but I have on Instagram, I have on RVology, where I kind of got swept into all that, into the gossip, into someone else's perspective of the guy. And as an adult, I can say, you know, now that I'm back there, I owe him a phone call. He wants to know when's a good night for him to put on this event when I'm in town for the Kellogg Center show at the end of September in Battle Creek, because he wants to do something. Maybe it's an awards show or appreciation show, something, I don't know. But the fact is, I'll always feel loyal to him. And when he can do something promotional to maybe help him in any way by dropping my name, then boom, my loyalty says he deserves it. And I'm like that with people.
Heck yeah, Rob. Yep. Lil, I've known you so far. You're very much like that. So it's been very cool, man. So good stuff. I like it. Yeah. Cool. September 30th, right? Battle Creek. Is that when you're going there?
Yeah. Battle Creek, Michigan. Also, well, we'll be talking. This weekend, Katie has a match in LA at the Globe Theater. It's an all women's show. What's dude's name? Rampage Jackson is like the general manager, the GM of it or whatever. And then it's all like ladies. And so that's what's going on this weekend. And then we'll talk again before the following week. I'll be in Hamburg, Pennsylvania.
Oh, all right. My side of the state or country here. All right. Cool, Rob. Yeah, you'll have to keep me posted about Katie. We'll talk about that next week too. That'll be cool. Sweet. As far as anything else goes, guys, follow the RVD pod up above there. Go rvdpod.com. You can get all the clips. Full episodes coming up there. I found a little workaround maybe with how to get the full episodes up there a little bit quicker. But yeah, if you guys tune in, want to get it early, go to the Premier Streaming Network down below. My point right there. We go down below there every Friday at 4:20 p.m. You get the full video episode right here on Premier Streaming Network. So
bonus fact on loyalty. I'm so loyal to people that have been there, you know, long term and you know, gotten into my inner circle. You know, anyway, I have an agent in Hollywood, and he told me like a few years ago that as long as he's represented me, he's never made any money off of me because I always turn down the auditions he sends me. And when I get work, it's outside of him. I'm like, are you serious? Like, you know, he works hard, you know, sending out, not just me, but other people, sends out all the pictures, confirms I got these people, here's all this, you know, and then he gets all the info. Anyway, I felt bad about that, and he's a friend of mine. And so after he said that, I started bringing him in on projects that I would maybe not even necessarily need a middleman. And I'd say, hey, I got this producer who wants me to do this thing, you know, and can I have him call you? And he would earn his 10% right away by increasing the pay so that he was taken care of on top of it, and he would make my conditions better. And I was like, wow, man, you know, and that's just me being loyal to him. And so that's just something that stuck out in my mind because that's, you know, something I wouldn't have to do. But I feel good about it because loyalty is important to me.
It is important. And I think it definitely fulfills something, an aspect of a life that, like, you know, people, you put DTA, if you're like that, yeah, how is anybody else going to trust you too if you feel that way about, you know? Yeah,
and some of those people, they're just loyal to a cause, not to somebody. And like I said, that's one way to live. See you next week, Don.
Yep. See you next week, Rob. We'll see you guys next week here on One of a Kind.
Everybody.
Sabu, we watched a couple of the matches between you and Rob. We had to, like I said, we watched WrestlePalooza, but we also watched a stretcher match too. And
That's one of my favorite ones.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you have a certain one that really stands out to you?
Well, not that stands out, but I like it because what we did with the stretcher, because everybody normally uses a stretcher. You carry the guy to the dressing room before you get to the dressing room, he rolls off.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was taking the stretcher and then doing a flip on it or whatever, I thought that was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Tony Khan was Tony Khan was at that show.
He was at that show?
Yeah, he was a kid. He was a kid in the crowd at our stretcher match.
Wow, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's told me that. And then I think it was you, Dom, right, that found him.
I think I found him in there. It's there's a very little kid in an orange shirt by a guy that looks like his dad. And I'm like, that's Tony Khan.
Yeah, he used to be blurry.
Yeah, he used to be blurry.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it when you did the moonsault out of the ring onto the stretcher and crashed your shins on the guardrail.
Oh
Yeah.
Crack.
I thought that was cool though. The way that was awesome. It's a double knockout.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was brutal.
We both got on the stretcher and rode it.
Yeah.
That was sweet. I thought.
Yeah. That was my favorite match at the time. That I'd had.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a unique one in that environment too. That ECW.
Oh, you got to be innovative in another way, which hasn't been done. With that stretcher.
No way. Yeah, you haven't seen anything like that since then.
No way.
No how. That took me a second. I don't remember.
Yeah, that's because I don't sing, so it'd be pretty hard to pick up on.
Yeah.